Sorry. Just need a minute to make sure that Twitch actually has me live. I'm hosting somebody right now, or at least that's what it tells me. And now my browser isn't reloading, which makes me very worried. It makes me very worried that I'm not actually live. Okay. So far as I can tell, I have no contact with the outside world except through assuming that I am transmitting on Twitch. I believe my internet's fine that way, but it is not at all clear to me that you guys can see me. And more importantly, I don't think I'm going to be able to read anything in chat. So just give me a quick second here while I load it up on my mobile. And assuming that everything's good, I'll be able to go, but I want to actually confirm that I'm live. Just sending a chat message out saying, can anyone read this? Ah, great. Thank you, HJVT. So I can see... you can read Lurking Overall. Cool. I am very, very sorry because I just announced that I'm going to be doing the Nighthawks demo. There's actually something I was going to say about that, but for whatever reason, Twitch has just totally, holy smokes, there it goes. The Nighthawks demo. All right, excellent. So before I load up the game, actually, you know what? I might as well. Okay, I want to give people a chance to see this, so I'm going to filibuster a little bit. First of all, there was a thing that happened. There was a game that I was really fond of, and somebody mentioned you are probably the Richard. So I believe the developer is inside the chat. So I will throw this up in a minute. I am going in totally blind, so this will probably be very frustrating for you to see. Excellent. So one thing I want to say, I haven't seen this, but there was a game which I was very fond of, which I was given credit for being the first person to stream it on Twitch. And I'd looked into that. I never self-applied it, but as soon as somebody said that about me, somebody put in a very public place, actually it was me. So in the full expectation that Nighthawks is going to blow up and be like the success story of 2020, the first Twitch video I could see which had any kind of tagging for Nighthawks is a streamer called Gavarok, in which I believe probably Richard was doing an interview. I haven't watched it myself, but given the fact that I know that some people get very protective over the title of first, this is my little bit of archival work to say that Gavarok is first in line. So let me start off properly. This game is not yet funded. And yes, there will be gameplay in a minute, but it basically jumps straight into it. So, and as he said, oh, cool. Well, very nice. Well, I was going to say, though, Gavarok definitely is tagged up that way. So I don't assign a big weight to that, but it's very nice to get the kudos if it is indeed a title I deserve. But anyways, I'll talk a little bit about the game and then I'll actually try and show you about it. So I hope and pray that everyone who comes in and says, oh, this is a really cool looking game, you will dutifully smack that exclamation KS command. For those of you already backing it, one thing I do like to do as a game gets closer and closer to its end, if you have the means, one great way to support a game like this is to take your existing pledge and maybe move it up one. I'm probably going to wind up doing that myself. But this game has a little bit over a week to go. It's telling me Canadian dollars, so it's currently at $76,990.23, pledged of a $125,000 goal. So it is well within. Oh, and the amount is going up. It is well within striking distance of hitting the goal. I have every expectation that this will be real, but it does need support from viewers like you. If it's not something for you, but you know somebody who would want to play it, let them know, make a joyful noise. It costs absolutely nothing to say something on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But I can tell you, having done fundraising for Extra Life and stuff like that, being annoying helps. Just blast it out as often as you can. But with that in mind, I'm 5 minutes in. I don't have any PC problems, so let me show you this object that I'm trying to get you to throw money at. And if you know any capricious or forgetful billionaires, this is a great time to steal their credit card. Indeed. I do not know any of them, but you already have my, well, $20 so far, but we'll talk later. Right, we'll talk about this later, but we'll go in blind, and yes, on Fig, I believe, and I'm just gonna take the volume down a hair because I think I'm competing for it. If you guys can just let me know about the game to voice volume, we'll see where it goes. Now, sadly for me, there's voice acting in this, so you don't get to hear me do terrible approximations of lady voices, but rusted metal of your bed creaks underneath you, its mattress damp and encrusted with ancient patches of blood, sweat, and semen. The last stinging memories of a day's bad dreams fade into an increasing familiar drip, drip, drip of a waking nightmare lit by a cheap flickering bulb. The game's kind of loud? Okay, let's just pull that straight down, and you'll have to read me do my terrible. Okay, so probably Richard, for those of you unfamiliar, is the one responsible for these wonderful words. I'm just gonna, this is mostly my level test, so if somebody can let me know that it's all good. Oh, and probably Richard says I sound fine, so if the game is too quiet, let's fidget around. This is so I'm sorry, I'm very flustered by a senior present, not senior, that's a terrible word, by an illustrious presence of probably Richard. If you probably Richard, if you'd like to tell us who you are or pitch the game in chat. I know I'm not doing a very good job of selling it. So, take two, another shitty night. The rusted metal of your bed creaks underneath you, its mattress damp and encrusted with ancient patches of blood, sweat, and semen. The last stinging memories of a day's bad dreams fade into the increasingly familiar drip, drip, drip of a waking nightmare lit by a cheap flickering bulb. Hello, thanks for checking out the Nighthawks demo. This is purely a proof of concept demo, originally only intended as a non-interactive trailer. The full version will be much more focused on RPG mechanics and freedom, but hopefully we will give you this small taste of what to expect. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to the Kickstarter at nighthawks-game.com. Get up and face the night. Everything aches. You pull yourself to your feet and take a moment to lick your still unfamiliar fangs. Outside, a swiftly cut-off scream marks the end of a successful mugging. This is not a district where screams draw assistance. At best, an unlucky victim can expect an angry shout to keep the noise down. Check the mirror. No reflection, of course, but the empty frame looking back at you is still discomforting. Perhaps for the moment, however, it is for the best. You don't need to see yourself to know your bedraggled, filthy, and underfed appearance. The rat from yesterday offered little but a strange rash under your arms, an affliction all the more worrying for the fact it should be impossible. Open the bedroom drawer. Your eyes sting at the sight of the cross atop a Gideon Bible. Unable to bring yourself to touch it, you shut the drawer tight. The pain soon fades. Check in on Madame Lux. Your soul ally...
It stirs. No offense, darling, but I was starting to wonder if I should have taken you to a graveyard instead.
Your sole ally at the moment sits in the corner, already awake and viciously flinging playing cards at the rats. She smiles with satisfaction as the Queen of Hearts slices into the side of a particularly fat one, sending it scurrying with a yelp. Madame Lux, the street magician who found you sleeping rough as the sun drew close. She paid for a room for the night. She didn't, of course, pay very much, but she remains the closest thing to a friendly face since the death of your master. Ask for advice.
If I was you, my dear little sweetmeat, I'd get back on my feet. Find a job if you must. Definitely get yourself something to eat. Or someone. I won't tell if you don't.
All right. As a good person constantly focused on the bottom line, let's ask about jobs in the area.
All in good time. I think first, we'd better get something down that throat of yours.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Ask about finding food.
Well, I wasn't thinking of a healthy Caesar salad, darling. Nightclubs are perfect, or a nice dark bar. A back alley, if you're desperate. Somewhere the little puppets are nice and pliable. Just don't be too public about it, and don't be greedy. I don't suppose you have any,
Huh. So I wonder if this is a character creation thing. Let's confess to having mesmerism.
That certainly simplifies things. Just remember, ixnay on the hour's pay. We don't want to spook the muggles, do we?
Ah, very cool. So yeah, actually, I should have specified this as well, and probably Richard's been really good at keeping me honest on this one. So again, this is not intended to be. So here's a small tidbit. I was actually going to email the contact address saying, like, hey, do you have like the demo, any kind of demo, something that I can show, to try and push people towards the Kickstarter. Because the big thing, like, I think most people here kind of get, I like taking stuff off of itch or like doing small things when I find it really interesting. And I think we get the idea of how these sorts of things scale. And of course, the nice thing is that me personally, I'm only going to make one set of decisions. So nobody has to know that we're limited inside of choices. But obviously, guys, the point of this is to try and maybe for those of you who are sitting on the fence about it, because it's so easy to look at a lot of Kickstarters and it's just like, oh yeah, I'll back that one later, or it looks kind of interesting, but maybe I don't want to put my money on it or something like that. The whole purpose of this thing is to try and expose some people who wouldn't have otherwise checked out the Kickstarter to go in and look at it. So keep in mind, this is more of a this is what we have available to show you. But there's a very impressive, very impressive pedigree behind the game, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. A little bit later. Anyways, Madame Lux is now your companion. She specializes in magic and deception, wields throwing knives, and has a gift known as the Delusion of Light. Traveling with her boosts your grifter and thief stats at the expense of hitter and gunslinger, so I'm not going to run in and destroy everyone. Cradlebridge Sanctuary, a cheap hotel room in one of the most dangerous parts of town. The windows are barely boarded enough to keep away the sun, and the heater barely warms the rising damp. It is a sanctuary of sort, but hardly a home. Madame Lux sits in the corner, shuffling one of her many decks of cards. Someone has slipped a flyer under the door. What does the flyer say? Nighthawks, Kensington Road, Cradlebridge. All-night dancing, cheap drinks, premium blood. But you have to be 21 or over. And Madame Lux has nothing to say at the moment, so let's go downstairs.
Not exactly the Ritz, is it? I stayed here once myself, when I first came here from Vegas. Once was more than enough.
Oh, I didn't even really... I suppose now I know to check that it's not... it's not expensive, but I didn't notice until you remarked, so... Alright everybody, cheap pick, don't look at... I think that's the flyer reference. The Halcyon is a fine old building, now long past its prime. The wallpaper is peeled and the carpet sticky. A few rat droppings and dead cockroaches say more of the standards here than any review could possibly manage. Let's approach the reception desk. The desk clerk stiffens as you approach, smelling your presence before looking at your face. $70 a night buys you our least worst room. Hope you don't mind sharing, because the roaches sure as shit don't. He looks up, noticing your fangs. Oh, one of you. $100 a night then. So this is one of the things that I really like. I'm probably I'm outing probably Richard here, but I believe one of his credits is, well, it's two of his credits would be Fallen London and Sunless Sea. And possibly Submariner. I don't know exactly the extent. But one of the things I really like is when a game sort of gives you an idea. It doesn't have to tell you, you're exactly going to have this happen. But the idea here that, hypnotizing a business owner to get something for free, my chances are very poor. I can risk it if I want, but I do need a place to stay, so I'm going to be... and Sunless Skies, cool. I did kickstart that one, and I was much better at submitting bug reports, but I got a little overwhelmed, so I've not returned to it. So I've likely not seen any of the contributions that you made. Hey, K5. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I play a lot of XCOM, so I work at a national statistical agency, so I definitely know. I know intellectually what the probabilities should be, but I still wind up feeling cheated whenever 90% doesn't turn out. So let's head outside.
Raining again? Fuck, I hate this city.
You step out into the frozen, mostly silent streets. This was once a flourishing market district, but that was a long time ago. Now the only reason half of these rotting tenements and crumbling buildings still stand is that it's easier to wait for them to crumble than to sign the paperwork to have them demolished. Yeah, that's a shame, HJVT, but you can take that money you put towards Starflight 3 and support a very worthy vampire RPG. Should add that it looks incredibly crisp when seen during... It does. Are you talking about the rain? Because this looks really impressive. I like this a lot, especially because it really isn't. Actually, guys, so this is a perfect time for me to spam this out again. If you guys want to experience this for yourself, there is the Kickstarter link. If you go under the most recent update, there will be a Dropbox with which you can download this demo. If you've not downloaded a Unity game before, what you want to do is follow that link and download the whole folder. This thing really does look great. And I'll mention, so I am from Vancouver, which rains a lot, but I also went to a school, not the school where I did econ, but before that, I went to a school which was on the border of the poorest postal code in Canada. And so I have walked through an area that looks like this in the rain at night. So this is fantastic in probably a way that shouldn't be fantastic, but yeah, this is bringing me back. I'm having memories of my misspent youth. You originally did particle effects in the overlay, but it looked fake. You added these are implemented in After Effects, so the backgrounds are really 10-second video loops. Oh, that is really cool. All right, you know what? We'll go hunting. We already know that there's not a lot in terms of consequences. All right, then HJVT, if you want to do your part, totally understand the situation. But if you know one individual, one person of means, I would really appreciate it if you let them know about this game. Hunger burns from the deepest pits of your soul. You stalk through the streets searching for possible prey. You encounter... Ooh. I'm gonna do the scrawny alley rat because I'm actually starting to remember the trailer, so... The rat attempts to flee, but your reflexes are too fast. You easily wrap your hand around it with bone-cracking force and drain it until it goes limp. The taste is rancid and the meal far from satisfying, but the hunger ebbs at least a little. So my suspicion has gone up, and I drank a tiny amount of blood, which probably isn't going to change things. Alright, you know what? Oh! So so I'm going to guess that these are not available to me. Yeah, I guess we'll go to... In the full guard, different blood types have effects. So drink drug blood and you're likely to get high or similar. Yeah, makes sense. A rundown nightclub near the edge of town. Nevertheless, there's a line outside it, mostly by people huddling from the rain. The bouncer slowly lets them in one at a time, frequently pocketing small bribes from queue jumpers and damp, impatient clubbers. So this is a neat idea. I think one of the trade-offs that's coming off here is, so I've got my scarce resource of money. So do I want to use half of my income to get in quickly? But of course, we're vampires. I'm assuming that things don't go well for me if I... Wait a minute, 2264? Is that intentional? I'm assuming things don't go well for me if I dawdle, so I suspect the idea here is how much is my time worth? And as somebody who's broke and looking for a job, my time's worthless right now, so we'll sneak around back. You try, but there's nowhere to sneak in right now. Then we will stand in line. Right. Nice, okay. Half an hour of waiting later, you get to the front of the queue. The bouncer shoots you a suspicious look. Better not be packing. No weapons or party favors inside. He gestures for you to assume the position. I got nothing to hide. The bouncer reluctantly...
Don't lay anything on me that you don't want to lose, sweetie.
The bouncer reluctantly decides that you haven't got anything worth worrying about. He turns his attention to Madame Lux. He glares at her, but comes to the conclusion that she is unlikely to be hiding too much in her current outfit. Go on through. Alright, put your dance emotes in, chat. Your feet stick to the carpet. This nightclub doesn't seem to have been renovated since the 1970s, or cleaned since almost as long ago. Oh my god, this is exactly like when I was in Vancouver. The main dance floor is in the back of the club, leaving this area for quieter drinking and conversation by the bar. Not many here not many are here for either tonight. Let's go to the bar. The bar is loaded with cheap booze at expensive prices. The bottles watered down and the beer barrels are mostly grit. A young bartender in a strategically ill-fitting uniform passes the time between drink orders with the help of a raggedy paperback book.
Hey, stranger. What'll it be? Beer? Whiskey? Oh, a little champagne to get the night started, right? My bad, sorry. The special wine, yeah? Give me a second to heat it up. Coming right up. So, not to be nosy or anything, but what's it like? Drinking blood, I mean. Like, licking a cut or something?
Rebecca pours you a fresh warm blood, a medley of assorted animals heavily watered down by vodka. Yes, actually, I probably should have, Alright. Richard's made a good point here. Let me read you the campaign information. At least this way you'll be able to sort of understand the context of what's going on. So, 3 months ago you died, and in that moment you were reborn as something new. A monster, a predator. Not a creature of the night, but one of its masters. Unfortunately, things aren't as simple as they used to be. Vampires have finally been exposed, and though your existence is tolerated, your new nature is not. You came to the city hoping for a new start, but found only suspicion and starvation. Now you stare at the ceiling of your cheap hotel as a penniless outcast, suckling on rats and destined to wither away. But every new era brings new opportunities, and in the political chaos of a world gone mad, even an outcast may rise. An outcast can change everything. This is the story of how you rose. Press, podcast, or video person, anything of that ilk. If you'd like to talk to us about the project, we're right here. Check the bottom of the page for assets, including a YouTube version of the trailer to share, or email contact@nighthawksgame.com, or speak to the man himself. Nighthawks is a brand new urban fantasy RPG from Wadjet Eye Games, Blackwell Legacy, Unavowed, Techno Babylon, and writer-designer Richard Cobbett, Sunless Sea, Sunless Skies, and The Long Journey Home. The initial concept for the game came when working on Sunless Skies and dreaming of seeing the caliber of interactive fiction merge with the atmosphere of some of his favorite urban fantasy books and games, in particular 2004's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. and then deciding he wanted to play that new game far too much to leave it as an idea sitting in the mental what-if folder. Which brings us to now. Welcome to the mean streets of a city grudgingly trying to show that humans and vampires can live together despite the cynicism and conspiracies raging on both sides. It's a place of bleak horror and dark humor, filled with monsters who don't at all have fangs and a thirst for blood, and featuring news stories down every dark alley. What part will you play, and how will you turn a newly awakened world to your advantage? Nighthawks is a mix of story-driven RPG and undead life simulation, where every decision you make is another move in your chess game against the world. Invest your time into learning new skills or honing your fighting style as you uncover the city's mysteries and venture deep into its darkest secrets. Gather fellow outcasts to your side, binding them with favors and choosing when to cash in. Manage your eternal thirst, legitimately or balancing the risks of being caught, stalking unwary victims, and working the black markets. And of course, what would a vampire be without a few secret powers? Choose from a range of dark gifts including corpse stalking, tenebrae inform, and mesmerize. Be careful to hide all evidence from the authorities while keeping them as ready as your ace in the hole. Embrace your vampire side. Sprinkle a little cinnamon into your blood to handle that pesky iron aftertaste, and get ready to live the nocturnal 9 to 5. Structurally, think a freeform RPG core with stories branching off of it. Some funny, some tragic, some horrific, where your decisions are always bleeding together. Get caught lying too often and your untrustworthy reputation will follow you around, while raising suspicion will draw the attention of the first mortal and then darker authorities. Do you, for instance, break a window and hurriedly search a crime scene while the alarms wail, pick the lock and explore at your leisure, or use vampire powers to impersonate the security guard and walk right in? The choice is yours, and all part of learning the beat of the city, developing new skills, and building up favors and contacts to help seize the day by the throat. Choose your friends carefully. Never travel alone. Befriend and recruit a wide circle of fellow outcasts, such as Madame Lux, vampire stage magician capable of fooling any eye with delusions of light, con artist turned cult leader Maze, vampire enforcer, I don't think I can pronounce this, Sayorsi? Anyways, let's Google it, because I have a feeling that name means something that I don't. Irish for freedom. Saoirse. Okay, that's why I couldn't. This is like me trying to pronounce Chabon. As comfortable as discussing great works of opera as she is getting her claws into the most dangerous dockhand fighting pits. Former Queen of the Black Sea Inez, a ruthless pirate out of her time. Disgraced scientist Morgan Shaw, funding her attempts to cure vampirism by selling crystal meth. Maybe even Samuel, a former doctor cursed with good intentions and a withered brain that considers no fate worse than death for patients who end up in his care, no matter how much they beg. Sorry. Companions here don't just fight for you. They take part in their lives. Take part in their lives as they work their own problems, have them look into rumors with their own contacts and social circles, and drive into their deepest secrets with interactive flashbacks set in locations like 17th century Nassau, Las Vegas, and the corrupt European courts of the Eternal Dynasties. Help them handle their demons, and they'll help you deal with yours. But good deeds rarely go unpunished, and everyone has their own agenda that consumes their endless nights. Enter the story. Why are we focusing on text? The possibilities. Games like Sunless Sea and 80 Days and Cultist Simulator have repeatedly demonstrated this over the last few years, and we intend Nighthawks to be seen in that company. A deep, wide, replayable RPG in which favor can be the ultimate weapon, and the friendliest smiles often have the sharpest teeth. Text-driven gameplay lets us focus on the details and mechanics, including bringing you a living city with little-seen features like NPC scheduling. You might, for instance, know a guy who will slip you blood from the hospital blood bank, but he only works Tuesdays to Fridays, and it's Saturday. Varied stories, incredibly reactive characters, and most importantly, player freedom. You're planning to head out on a quest you were expecting to pay for your hotel room this week, but the friend you wanted to bring along isn't available. Do you wait, take someone else, risk going alone, hope for another opportunity? We're drawing inspiration from a wide range of RPG classics, from Baldur's Gate 2 to Yakuza to Bloodlines to Fallout to Quest for Glory, and in particular their sense of freedom and focus on letting you live in those worlds. In Nighthawks, you're in charge of your destiny, whether it's running your nightclub sanctuary, playing politics, or plunging into stories that range from lighthearted adventure and modern political intrigue to blisteringly bleak horror. And I will save the meet the team and such, but that should give you guys a really good idea of what they're trying to do with this game, and more importantly, give you some ideas in terms of why I'm making certain decisions. I do not like the taste.
Yeah, a lot of folks say that. Ask us to mix in a little cinnamon. Something about handling the iron aftertaste. Anyway.
Yes, and actually, probably Richard raises a really good point. One of the reasons why I'm probably going to upgrade my backer level is because I do actually kind of want to get my hands on the designer notes, which for those of you... Okay, actually, here is the pitch for Nighthawks. A lot of you guys really liked Cultist Simulator, and a lot of you found out that I have that little Cultist USB with all of like the design notes and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, how do I get my hands on something like that? Well, the way you get your hands on something like that is by going to that Kickstarter link, which I'm going to put inside of the chat right now, and you back at the level that gets you those notebooks. And then you won't have to worry about complaining about the fact that you don't have access to them when the game comes out. That is how you get your hands on notebooks like that.
So, pulling the old nocturnal 9 to 5, eh? Don't worry, I'm cool with it. Always suspected you folks were a thing, even before everyone found out.
How about recent rumors?
Oh no, the all-knowing bartender act? That's just for regulars. Can't go giving the goods away for free.
But I already bought a drink. Ask about. Becca gives the glass the special treatment, spitting in it twice before wiping it out. Tell me about yourself, milady.
Me? I'm Rebecca. Becca to friends. Becky, if you want me to hurt you. Just your average ex-student buried in debt. Luckily, this place is pretty quiet and the boss scares off most new staff, so lots of shifts for Becca. They pay like crap, but... Yeah, I was trying to stay positive there. Sorry.
Tell me about vampires.
I mean, I doubt I know more than you do. I really only know a couple like my boss. He's old country. That's the term, right? Makes my skin crawl. Though I reckon he'd do that even if he wasn't a bloodsucker.
Now, Richard will probably be able to correct me on this, but I believe, sort of, for lack of a better term, the factions of vampires fall in these terms like old country and such. So I think there's basically continental vampires. I think North America kind of gets their own group, and I don't recall what the third one is offhand. Oh, Five Blood Origins. Okay, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, Old Country is one of the Five Blood Origins based on descendants of Slavic monsters. Tell me about this place, Becky. New World, Continental, Old Country, Imperial, and Mandarin. Right, I knew there was one that was Eastern, but it seemed a little too easy to divide the world into three.
Look, it could be worse. We've at least some regulars who come here by choice, and it's probably only the one of them that keeps shitting in the restroom sink. Maybe one day, we'll even get uniforms that fit.
What do you know about this woman I'm with?
Sorry. No idea who that is.
Oh, darling, you wound me. You really must come to one of my shows.
Oh, that's really interesting, probably, Richard. So I did play Vampire the Masquerade. Well, I mean, I read the books for it. I never actually really... Oh, that's not true. I LARPed once. I know there was a Kindred of the East, and I think it had a similar idea, which was it was more about who had sired you. So I think, is that sort of the idea that you're going with? I know you'd mentioned the White Wolf stuff in the Kickstarter, so I wasn't sure if that was a source. I'm done talking. Back to the club floor. Oh, yeah. We are a dancing vampire. You push your way onto the dance floor. The music is loud, the light blazing, the smells of sweat and sex twisting through your nostrils. You dance, unnoticed in the crowd for the first time since waking up in your new life. As the song ends, you slip away from the throng, throbbing with excitement despite your non-beating heart. Okay, let's sneak into the VIP room. Ducking under the velvet rope, you slip into the VIP lounge. It isn't much more luxurious than the rest of the club, with its musty old cushion and desperately outdated decor. Someone has at least dusted the place, though. Tonight you encounter a dancer obsessed with their phone. He sits quietly in the dim view of a corner booth. By the way, I love this choice, because I'm assuming most of the time when you guys see a dancer obsessed with their phone, you immediately assume that it's a woman, and I loved the fact that it was a guy that came up. He sits quietly in the dim light of a corner booth, updating Instagram with pictures of the night so far. A single Bluetooth earpiece leaks the latest hit album, something this outdated club is unlikely to play for another 20 years. Approach him. His carotid artery pulses temptingly. He doesn't notice your approach. Tempting, but introduce myself. He glances up at you long enough to muster piss off and then turns back to his phone. Further attempts to win his attention only lead him to slipping in the second earbud and turning the volume up to full. Attack him. The fuck? Get off! His hands scramble for your throat, but it's no good. You have him cornered in the booth and easily ignore his desperate flailing. Your fangs sink deep into his neck. Well, just take a little. Oh, that's really cool. Out of nowhere, agonizing pain. Fire pierces your skin from behind. A thick hand tears from your victim. You fall to the carpet, the world turning black. Your last sight is the bouncer from outside, comforting the partygoer, a stake in his hand. Fade into unconsciousness. The velvet room. Your head spins, pounding in agony. Noises seep in from somewhere far away.
This troublemaker?
Mumbling.
Wake it up. Big shiny pair of fangs on this one, huh? Coming into my place, not presenting yourself with tribute like a good baby vampire. What's the world coming to?
You awaken to find yourself slumped in a chair in the club office. Your wrists are bound to its arms with burning silver. The fat vampire behind the desk gives you an unimpressed look over, pausing to take a long drag on his cheap cigar.
Quiet. Good. I can work with quiet. Here's how it's gonna be, baby vampire. Cradlebridge here, this is my backyard. Mine. You wanna play in it? That's a right that's gotta be earned. Luckily for you, I'm a generous old soul. You go get yourself something more respectable to wear. Come back, and we'll talk business. Figure out what messy little sins you're gonna commit for me. Of course, there's still the matter of tonight's little insult.
He gestures to the large man, who grips your wrist tight, in his other hand, a hammer. Well, this is the time to use a 1 in a million chance. Tell the bouncer to drop the hammer.
Nothing personal, kid. But we can't have anyone saying I've gone soft.
Now, how many of you want to see that story continue? Because if you do, go back it! Let's talk turkey. So this, like I said, so the game is now at, I've got the Canadian number up now, so 99,810 of a 161,389 Canadian goal, or 77,090.23 out of a $125,000 goal. It is well within striking distance, but again, there's a little over a week to go, and it's absolutely something that needs people to continue backing it. I am definitely going to be raising my tier up, but unfortunately, I am I am not one of those people who is able to go to like $1,000 or $5,000 tiers. So trying a new thing on Kickstarter, asking for the amount that you need. Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing, guys. It's an all or nothing pledge. This is, this is it. If you guys want to see cool stuff like this, somebody's got to pay for it, and this is a chance to go directly to the people who are making it. If you have any questions about the game, we're very lucky to have the person responsible for this demo inside. I will actually say, so probably Richard, I don't know. I know you've been doing some. Press for it. I don't have any specific questions for you, but if you would find it easier to do, like, to have your voice on, I'm very happy to set you up in like a Discord chat or something like that. But don't feel compelled if it's just as easy to chat inside Twitch as well. We can. But again, as he says, every little bit helps. The smallest pledge level is $1, and you will get a backer name in the credits for that. If you want a copy of the game itself, it's $20 US, so Canadian, that's about $26. If you go for the $30 tier, you would, but it's 1 a.m. and you're tired. Totally understand. And again, like I would basically be improvising anyway, but yeah, I'm definitely doing my best to drum up whatever support I can. The game page should have most of the stuff that you need. Yeah, okay. For those of you who want to dig a little bit deeper, as an honored guest, actually, sorry, I should check the 20. So the $20 pledge, backer name and credits, Nighthawks digital code, and you name an enemy NPC. 31 gives you the, what was it? Backer name and credits, name an enemy NPC, and the Nighthawks Collector's Edition, which will include the official soundtrack, which is not this... wallpapers, a copy of the design Bible, and any other goodies that you can cram in. Melemony, did you just come in here? Because I think what we're going to do is we're going to load this up again. I'll do it a little bit faster, but in this time I'm not going to stop and cover the lore and such. But let me take a minute. I'll do the sales pitch. We'll do it one more time, and then I think we'll go into our other game for the night. So. This is the tier I'll probably move up to, dive deeper into the world of Nighthawks with a copy of the official soundtrack, wallpapers, and a copy of the design Bible, and any other goodies that you can cram in. If you go for the $50 tier, Share the Love, get 2 copies of the Collector's Edition and its associated bonuses for both yourself and a friend who deserves it, or possibly an enemy who doesn't like games like this, but I don't quite think that's going to happen. Yeah, absolutely. And this is probably Richard is pointing out something really important here. I'm going to do it again just because I know that there's different times that people come in, and I think you guys probably won't mind a full run. Sorry for the YouTube folks who might be watching. You're going to see the game again, but I'll go through it relatively quickly. But again, I mostly just want to show you guys a little bit of it without me sort of stopping and reiterating things that not reiterating, but speaking about things that I should have in the first place. So yeah, the $50 is the get one for a friend tier. $100 or more, you get a gold credit card. You remember you've got the black one. You'll be able to see that inside the game anyway. What was it? 200, or sorry, I should do the Flash Your Riches by swapping that generic black debit card with the shiny golden one. Has no gameplay effect whatsoever, just possibly a warm feeling every time it reminds you of your generosity. This actually, by the way, if I was a professional streamer, I would 100% want to buy this tier, so then I could like kind of thumb my nose at everybody down below. It's like, you got that tier, huh? All right. I think this is a clever. I mean, obviously, streamers are like such a small portion of the people who will ever like buy or play a game. But I just really love this idea of like if I was not a hack, I would completely prestige my account to do the. To look down on lesser mortals. 200, name a street, business, or landmark on the map. Must fit the fiction of the game, of course, so no dank mean swamp, as I'm sure everybody's really getting tired of hearing me reference to. No, I think it's the right way to go, probably, Richard, because, I mean, obviously, I Actually, the other thing that I'll briefly mention, one thing that I really like about the way that Richard's done this, it just feels very strange to talk about, speak on first names, but I also think Mr. Cobbett also sounds unusual on Twitch. There's one thing that's being done with his Kickstarter that I wish more would do. So what people have started, they've done it forever, but they've made the beta access to a game a special backer tier, so you have to pay more to get access to the game early. And this has actually stopped me from being able to stream games, like basically drum up support for like the Slacker backer tiers and stuff like that. Or just generally, like, so obviously between a Kickstarter and a full release for a game, there's a whole, there's a whole world of sort of awareness building and just trying to get this critical mass so that you can chart on release day. And there's so many games that I've been really interested in. I mean, I've been interested enough to kickstart them and to, let people know, and to then turn around and not be able to show that kind of support for the game. And I don't really like the idea of emailing the developer and saying, hey, I'm a streamer, can I get a beta copy? Because obviously people have paid for access to that. But I think what it does is it segments the group of people who would otherwise be really interested in testing the game and obviously give you some really good feedback. So it sections that off. But also number two, if you are a streamer who does kickstart games, it potentially closes off some avenues of some free publicity. So I think Richard has done the thing that I think should be done for basically every Kickstarter. And yes, so you want your beta testers to beta test. They're helping. Yeah, I 100% agree. All right, so I know some of you are like super rich, so you guys need to do the 1,000 tier. There are 2 of 10 left, and the patron of the arts, instead of being a vampire's lunch, be the vampire. We'll add you to the game as a character, complete with your own storyline. Character must be 18 plus and fit the fiction and style of the game, but we'll work with you on that, and the kind of plot that you want to be a part of. Backer name in the credits, name an enemy NPC, Nighthawks Collector's Edition, become a vampire, and of course the gold credit card. And last but not least, $5,000 or more, the ruler of the night tier. Take the final step up. Don't just be any old vampire, be a boss of a district. As before, the character must be 18 plus, and we'll work with you on the fiction, with your character appearing in a crucial story scene and as part of your own quest and storyline. And of course, you get everything before. Backer name in the credits, name of enemy NPC, Nighthawks Collector's Edition, Ruler of the Night, gold credit card, and the eternal love and adoration of the people who are making this game. So yeah, with that in mind, let's see that number go up. I really want to see this game be made. And for those of you who didn't get to see it before, we're going to do one more really quick run through. And if you guys want to play this yourself, obviously it's, as we say, it's a vertical slice. But this will be this will be your chance to get interested all over again. And then we'll go on to Mass Effect. So the rusted metal of your bed creaks underneath you, its mattress damp and encrusted with ancient patches of blood, sweat, and semen. The last stinging memories of the day's bad dreams fade into the increasingly familiar drip, drip, drip of a waking nightmare lit by a cheap flickering bulb. Get up and face the night. Everything aches. You pull yourself to your feet and take a moment to lick at your still unfamiliar fangs. Outside, a swiftly cut-off scream marks the end of a successful mugging. This is not a district where screams draw assistance. At best, an unlucky victim can expect an angry shout to keep the noise down. Check on Madam Lux. Your sole ally...
It stirs. No offense, darling, but I was starting to wonder if I should have taken you to a graveyard instead.
Your sole ally at the moment sits in the corner, already awake and viciously flinging playing cards at the rats. She smiles with satisfaction as the Queen of Hearts slices into the side of a particularly fat one, sending it scurrying with a yelp. Madam Lux, the street magician who found you sleeping, rough as sun drew close. She paid for a room that night. She didn't, of course, pay very much, but she remains the closest thing to a friendly face since the death of your master. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, like I let on that I'm disappointed by voice acting more than, like, I gave the impression that I didn't like that feature. I'm actually totally fine with it. I definitely prefer playing games the way that they're intended to, but obviously because I don't enhance a cast by being visible on it, my ability to use my own voice it's kind of the added value. If it's a story-based game and it's fully voice acted, I sometimes wonder if I'm actually really doing the right thing by streaming it, because I sort of, at this point I'm sort of like, well, what am I contributing? Like, I don't want to, I don't want to give away the experience without value add.
If I was you, my dear little sweetmeat, I'd get back on my feet. Find a job if you must. Definitely get yourself something to eat. Or someone. I won't tell if you don't.
Ask about finding...
Well, I wasn't thinking of a healthy Caesar salad, darling. Nightclubs are perfect. Or a nice dark bar. A back alley, if you're desperate. Somewhere the little puppets are nice and pliable. Just don't be too public about it, and don't be greedy. I don't suppose you have any...
Let's go for corpse stalking.
That certainly simplifies things. Just remember, ixnay on the hour's pay. We don't want to spook the muggles, do we?
Madam Lux is your companion. She specializes in magic and deception, wields throwing knives, and has the gift known as the Delusion of Light. Traveling with her boosts your grifter and thief stats at the expense of hitter and gunslinger. I actually think I'll briefly... I know I said I wasn't going to give too much commentary here, but one thing I was going to say, I believe from the Kickstarter page, character creation was sort of described as who your sire was. So these dialogue options... I mean, Madam Lux, I don't believe, is going to be the one who our character is based off of, but you sort of have a blank canvas in terms of who you are, and so I suspect the way it will work is that these dialogue options will ultimately sort of build your character and reveal it through actions, which I think is a really great way of letting you tell a story. Like, basically, instead of sitting down as like... in one sense, when you play a role-playing game, it's really fun to sit down and, like, imagine and fill out all these stats and things like that. But especially in the terms of a video game, this idea of sort of having your character unfold and you demonstrate who you are rather than just saying, I put a tick in the box saying that this is my set of ethics, so I don't need to think about my ethics anymore. I just think it's something that leans into the fact that we've got these big, expensive sort of record keepers to allow us to build our characters through our actions rather than like a stat sheet. A cheap hotel room in one of the most dangerous parts of the town. The windows are barely boarded enough to keep away the sun. The heater barely warms the rising damp. It is a sanctuary of a sort. It's hardly a home. Madam Lux sits in the corner, shuffling one of her many decks of cards. Someone has slipped a flyer under the door. Not final, although this looks perfectly fine. Go downstairs.
Not exactly the Ritz, is it? I stayed here once myself, when I first came here from Vegas. Once was more than enough.
The Halcyon is a fine old building, now long past its prime. The wallpaper is peeled and the carpet sticky. A few rat droppings and dead cockroaches say more of the standards here than any review could possibly manage. Well, that outside.
Raining again? Fuck, I hate the city.
So again, just a quick word, guys. As soon as I saw this, I was very impressed by what this looked like, and I know it's not going to look very good on the stream. So, I do recommend, just so you can see how nice this rain looks, do download the demo for yourself, which is available here. Let's go hunting. Actually, no, let's go into the sewers this time. No, you are not that desperate. Not yet. All right, let's go hunting. And of course, we'll go after the homeless man half-drunk this time. Hunger burns from the deepest pits of your soul. You stalk through the streets searching for possible prey. You encounter a homeless man half-drunk. Oh, so sad. He appears pitiable and surprisingly pliable. It takes little effort to lure him from his makeshift bed in the doorway of an all-night clip joint and into the nearest alley. His blood calls to you. Your fangs sink into his neck. I'm just looking at those eyes, and I'm going to feel so bad that I'm going to be a bad person. As foul as his blood is, it has been so long since you drank your fill. He thrashes in your grip, and you renew your assaults, taking everything he has to give. It isn't very much. He slumps to the ground, leaving you as thirsty as before. Oh God, I feel so bad about that too. See, this is one of the things. I am far too nice of a person to play vampire games. The idea that I just terminated this guy who is, like, clearly in some of the worst circumstances that you can find yourself in, and I did it for what does not amount to a lot, just makes me feel so bad. We'll walk around. Yeah, I tried to. I was sort of implicitly going for nice vampire last time by not killing anyone, but I do feel bad. A rundown nightclub near the edge of town. Nevertheless, there is a line outside it. Mostly people huddling from the rain. The bouncer slowly lets them in one at a time, frequently pocketing small bribes from queue jumpers and damp, impatient clubbers. This time we'll bribe him. You slip the bouncer a 10 spot. He looks at it, unimpressed, but lets you through a velvet rope. Better not be packing. No weapons or party favors inside. He gestures for you to assume the position. Agree to a pat down.
Don't lay anything on me that you don't want to lose, sweetie.
Bouncer reluctantly decides that you haven't got anything worth worrying about. He turns his attention to Madame Lux. He glares at her, but he comes to the conclusion that she is unlikely to be hiding too much in her current outfit. Go on through. It is really interesting, the letter B, and now you guys know why I'm doing this a second time. Your feet stick to the carpet. This nightclub doesn't seem to have been renovated since the 1970s or cleaned since almost as long ago. The main dance floor is at the back of the club, leaving this area for quieter drinking and conversation by the bar. Not many are here for either tonight. Let's start at the dance floor. You push your way onto the dance floor. The music is loud, the lights blazing, the smells of sweat and sex twisting through your nostrils. You dance, unnoticed in the crowd for the first time since waking up in your new life. As the song ends, you slip away from the throng, throbbing with excitement despite your non-beating heart. Nighthawks, a rundown club in a crumbling part of town. Its guests dance in the back or slump at the bar, looking for a brief escape from their lives. The bar is loaded with cheap booze at expensive prices, the bottles watered down and the beer barrels mostly grit. A young bartender in a strangely ill-fitting uniform passes the time between drinks orders with the help of a raggedy paperback book. Let's speak to the bartender.
Hey, stranger. What'll it be? Beer? Whiskey? Oh, a little champagne to get the night started, right?
Morning, Mr. Pones.
My bad, sorry. The special wine, yeah? Give me a second to heat it up.
We're playing Nighthawks, or at least a small little demo. It's really just to give you an idea of what the thing will be like. It's a very, very small look at a very interesting game. And you can do !KS if you want to learn more about it. Hypnotize her into giving you a free drink. This will go poorly.
Oh, no, you don't. Don't think you're the first one to pull that shit round here. I see your eyes go all spooky weird again. You'll be having a date with Malcolm's pointy stick.
Apologize and pay for the drink.
Look, I get it. Worth a try, right? Just, look, word to the wise here. The boss gets real pissed about that stuff. You really don't want to see him pissed. Hell, not at all, really. Not that I said that.
Rebecca pours you a fresh, warm blood, a medley of assorted animals heavily watered down by vodka.
So, not to be nosy or anything, but what's it like? Drinking blood, I mean. Like, licking a cut or something?
No opinion.
It's weird. I always figured vamps would be really into this stuff. Instead, most ask us to mix in a little cinnamon. Something about handling the iron aftertaste. Anyway, so pulling the old nocturnal 9 to 5, eh? Don't worry, I'm cool with it. Always suspected you folks were a thing, even before everyone found out.
Let's ask about the recent rumors.
Oh no, the all-knowing bartender act? That's just for regulars. Can't go giving the goods away for free.
Becca adjusts her ill-fitting uniform, smiling awkwardly. Tell me about yourself, Becky.
Me? I'm Rebecca. Becca to friends. Becky, if you want me to hurt you. Just your average ex-student buried in debt. Luckily, this place is pretty quiet and the boss scares off most new staff. So, lots of shifts for Becca. They pay like crap, but... yeah, I was trying to stay positive there. Sorry.
Enough about you. Let's talk about me.
I mean, I doubt I know more than you do. I really only know a couple like my boss. He's old country. That's the term, right? Makes my skin crawl. Though I reckon he'd do that even if he wasn't a bloodsucker.
So, based on what probably Richard just said, I will now announce that the first paid DLC is the Rebecca Schoolgirl uniform, available for $35.99 on Steam if the game gets successfully backed within the next 5 hours. That will not happen for those who do not understand sarcasm. Stretch goals. The most literal possible interpretation.
Sorry. No idea who that is.
Oh, darling, you wound me. You really must come to one of my shows.
What can I do for you, stranger?
This conversation is over! Let's sneak into a VIP room. Tempting, but I only got $6, HJVT. Having wasted my money on frivolities in real life, I now realize that the only tier at which I could back would be the $1 supporter tier, or, of course, bump it up for no other reward. And so, as a sensible vampire, I would want to hang on to at least $20 US in order to kickstart this excellent game, which will be finished in slightly over a week. Well, the Kickstarter will be over in slightly over a week. The game will be finished much later than that. Ducking under the velvet rope, you slip into the VIP lounge. It isn't much more luxurious than the rest of the club, with its musty cushion and desperately outdated decor. Someone has at least dusted the place, though. Tonight, you encounter a dancer. He sits quietly in the dim light of a corner booth, updating Instagram with pictures of the night so far. A single Bluetooth earpiece leaks the latest hit album. Something this outdated club is unlikely to play for another 20 years. I wonder what happens if I leave him. With difficulty, you pull yourself away. Oh, cool. Okay. Out of nowhere, agonizing pain. Fire pierces your skin from behind. A thick hand tears you from your victim. You fall to the carpet, the world turning black. Your last sight is the bouncer from outside comforting the partygoer, stake in his hand. So I suspect in this case, this was kind of something that you cobbled together to... this is, I'm assuming, something you probably hooked into the previous option. Yeah, no, it's totally cool. I mostly just wanted to say that this is not working as it will in the final version, but fade into unconsciousness. Your head spins, pounding in agony. Noises seep in from somewhere far away. I mean, the other thing too, like beyond the fact that the dialogue says that the person's being attacked, it's entirely possible that the owner's, that much of a dick that because I didn't come in with tribute, I get a special audience.
This troublemaker? Wake it up. Big shiny pair of fangs on this one, huh? Coming into my place, not presenting yourself with tribute like a good baby vampire. What's the world coming to?
You awaken to find yourself slumped in a chair in the club office. Your wrists are bound to its arms with burning silver. The fat vampire behind the desk gives you an unimpressed look over, pausing to take a long drag on his cheap cigar. Pardon me, sir. Go fuck yourself.
Fire in your belly. Good. You'll need that. Here's how it's gonna be, baby vampire. Cradle Bridge here. This is my backyard. Mine. You wanna play in it? That's a right that's gotta be earned. Luckily for you, I'm a generous old soul. You go get yourself something more respectable to wear. Come back, and we'll talk business. Figure out what messy little sins you're gonna commit for me. Of course, there's still the matter of tonight's little insult.
So in this case, I'm not able to... Oh, that's right, because I don't have mesmerism. I went for corpse talking. Yeah, don't let him see me bleed.
Nothing personal, kid. But we can't have anyone saying I've gone soft.
Oh, I just used it. Okay, right. Yeah, okay, that I forgot. Because I used it on Rebecca. All right, this is my last pitch to you. This is Nighthawks, the vampire RPG. Probably Richard, aka Richard Cobbett, is the creator. This is live on Kickstarter right now. There are 8 days left in the campaign. Currently at $77,130.23 of a $125,000 goal. If you have any questions directly for the person most directly responsible, get them in now. As for me, I will say, so for those of you... No problem at all, probably, Richard. I'm really excited by this project, and I tried doing a small little blog on, like, the where do you find cool games question, and I sort of did it and supported this, but as a bit of feedback for what it's worth, like, for me as a streamer, like, I really like doing early stuff like this, and I find it a lot easier to convince people to go to a Kickstarter page if I can play it. So your decision to put this vertical slice up, like, I completely understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to put it out into the world, especially because once you do that, streamers are not necessarily going to be treating it quite the right way, right? Like, they might be saying, it's like, oh, this thing's bullshit. They forced me to get kidnapped by that guy or whatever. But like, for me, like, the whole point here is just for me to be able to, like, look under the hood a little bit and get people excited by it. So, like, I really do appreciate you making this available, because I know it's not something that you were originally planning on. And yeah, I mean, I think it's totally right that you're setting people straight on it. You're obviously, anybody who thinks that this thing is a visual novel is just not paying attention to what you're saying. But on my own end, like, I really do appreciate the fact that you did that. Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, so for those of you who might have that impression or wondering more like what the actual experience is going to be, like, do take the time to go to the Kickstarter page and see how the game is described. It's very different from just click dialogue and push the story forward. And again, it's not that type of a game is bad. It's just that there's more that can be done. And there is every intention. I mean, there's a reason why this thing has the budget that it has. There's a reason why it is going to take, a little over a year to produce. And it's something that honestly looks really interesting. It's something that I really want to play, and it's something that I really wanted to share with you guys. So, yeah, no worries. Thank you very much for stopping by, probably, Richard. I do wish you the best of luck on this. And again, thank you so much for letting us try the demo, and also for sort of pulling me out of the fire on some of the details about the game. Hey, 1-4. Have a good night, or I guess good morning in your case, probably, Richard. He's pulling the hours of these other characters. So, as a quick word for maybe some of the more regulars who are watching, for those of you who do check out my blog, this is the game that inspired me to do that, finding your next hidden gem blog post. Because with Cultist Simulator and In Other Waters, basically there's a few games, and whenever I do something like that, I tend to get the response, where do you find all this great stuff from? And honestly, it's just looking. It's hard because there's a lot of people with different Kickstarters, and there's lots of very worthy projects out there. There's stuff in your backyard that you've probably not heard of. And so I do my best when I find something that I'm personally interested in and I want to advocate for, to give you guys a hand. Now, the big thing is there's lots of different games that are asking for your money. There's lots of different ways to spend it. Obviously, my interest in a game does not necessarily translate to your own interest in the game. But one thing I can say is this. If you'd like to see me stream this game, the game needs to be made first. So whether you give this as a gift to someone, whether you even do the absolute free way to support this game, and just simply get the word out. I do encourage you guys to talk about it. There's really no reason this thing shouldn't hit its goal. But there is still a way to go, 77 out of 125,000. So it still needs to raise another $50,000 in 8 days. Now, for those of you who look at Kickstarters, as it gets closer and closer to the end, the take-up tends to be a little bit faster. But the biggest thing is that we cannot just simply assume that this game will be made. It does involve the game finding its right audience. And I know there's a few of you who hadn't heard about this thing before it came out. So if you're a streamer, consider doing the demo. If you have a big Twitter following, consider tweeting it out. If you have a streamer who you think might do this sort of game well, let them know about it. Maybe get them to do a quick preview of the demo, letting them know that it's a bit of a vertical slice. There's lots of different ways that you can support a project like this, even if you yourself are not going to pick up the tab. So yeah, I've done my part. I'll still be bugging you all on Twitter about this as well. But this is a project that I think is really worth your time. And for those of you who don't know who Probably Richard is, he's somebody who has worked on a few different games, which I think a lot of you enjoy or have heard of. So he has done, Sunless Sea, Sunless Skies. There was a third one which I haven't played, so I can never remember what it is. The Long Journey Home. And then Wadjet Eye Games, I believe, is the publisher, but their most recent bit of success was Unavowed, which was actually one, I mentioned this in the blog, I was going to do an audition for in the voice acting for Unavowed. And I kind of chickened out at the end, so I never submitted it. I felt kind of bad about that. But anyways, there is a really talented team behind this. There's sort of known quantities. It's a different kind of game. I don't really think there's anything quite like this that will be available. And so it's why I wanted to take the time. I guess we're probably about an hour in, aren't we? Yeah. We're about an hour into the stream. So I hope you guys found that interesting enough to justify the time away from our usual fare. So just give me a quick second to tool up for Mass Effect 2, and we will continue on with Commander Shepard's journey. This is always a very awkward transition to make. Sorry, guys. Where are you, Origin? Here we go. Boom. Hopefully the information updated. That was really nice, by the way. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm really, really happy that probably Richard stopped by, because I don't. One of the things that's been very rewarding about Twitch the last little while is finding games that I'm interested in and then realizing, I think it's just one of these moments of realizing like there's human beings behind it. Oh, I'm sorry, HJVT. So I don't know if you were really looking forward to Mass Effect 2, but the VOD will be up within 48 hours, I hope. So I hope you have a really good night. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, damn it. It's not the end of the world if you guys see this, but I think I might have used a different email. Anyways, one of the really rewarding things about streaming recently for me has been interacting with the creators of games, just kind of going from that point for it just being this like monolith of, you know, or these 10-foot tall, you know, heroes who do, you know, everything right. To see the people behind the games that I'm playing, or to see them in these really early stages, and seeing them interacting with people. I mean, it's great because you get to see how passionate they are about their projects, which I think is always really interesting. And for me, it's really, I don't know, it's nice to see people react. Usually the developers who've stopped by have been really nice, and it's been really pleasant to have them there. So it was very unexpected, but that was really nice to have probably Richard come in. All right. When last we left our hero, I should probably push up the volume. All right. I'm debating about whether or not I want to do codices. How many do we have in extinct?
50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kadje, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens.
All right. I didn't quite want to do that. I wanted to do the codices that I could read. And I kind of go out of my way because I want to play interesting games too. But there is something of a benefit to being a streamer that does get to find cool new things. Like, obviously, you know, if Nighthawks does very well, to be able to, you know, to play it when it first comes out and to know that it's something really good, that will be a benefit to me because that gives me a reputation as, you know, chooser of good games and stuff like that. So there is something of like a small market incentive. I mean, I say this at a point where I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I went from like 1997 followers and I'm like, oh, I need to plan for the 2000 follow stream. And then like I'm back to 1993, and again I had that big drop of subscribers. So I'm feeling really self-conscious about the state of casting in that. But in principle, when somebody's not a hack like me, you know, it's there's a little bit of an incentive in terms of just being somebody who finds something cool. And I think more importantly, one of the things it allows me to do is I know that not everybody reads the blogs and not everybody reads my Twitter. So honestly, the best way to convey information for me is to do so on stream. And it's why having access to early demos like that. Like, so for those of you who didn't know, Nighthawks was not intended to have a playable demo at this time. That just got released today. They really made that demo to be able to sort of to make something for the trailer. But again, I'm glad that they did, because clearly a number of you had not heard of this game until we played it. And it's good. I mean, I think games should find their audiences, and that is one that really deserves to be made. So, I think we already did the right. We were going to do the Solarians, and then we're going to move on. So, Solarian biology. Solarians are noted for their high-speed metabolism, which allows them to function on just 1 hour of sleep a day. Their minds and bodies work faster than most sapient races, making them seem restless or hyperactive. The drawback of this active metabolism is a short lifespan of around 40 human years. The Solarians are amphibian haplodiploid egg layers. Unfertilized eggs produce males, and fertilized eggs produce females. Once a year, a Solarian female will lay a clutch of dozens of eggs. Social rules prevent all but a fraction from being fertilized. As a result, 90% of the species is male. Solarians have photographic memories and rarely forget a fact. They also possess a form of psychological imprinting, tending to defer to those they knew in their youth. Solarian hatchling is a solemn ritual. Hatching is a solemn ritual in which the clan Dalatras, matriarch, isolates herself with the eggs. The young Solarians psychologically imprint on her and tend to defer to her wishes. During the hatching of daughters, the Dalatras of the mother and father's clans are present at the imprinting. This ensures the offspring have equal loyalty to both, ensuring the desired dynastic and political unity. Solarian culture. The rare Solarian females are cloistered on the worlds out of tradition and respect. Powerful female Dalatresses are dynasts and political kingpins. They determine the political course of their respective regions through shrewd negotiation. Though male Solarians raise to positions of great authority in business, academia, or the military, they rarely have any input on politics. Due to their method of reproduction, Solarians have no concept of romantic love, sexual attraction, or biological impulses and social rituals that complicate human lives. Male-female relationships are rare due to the scarcity of females and more akin to human friendship. Sexuality is strictly for the purpose of reproduction. Ancient social codes determine who gets to fertilize eggs, which produces more daughters to continue a bloodline. Fertilization generally only occurs after months of negotiation between the parents' clans and is done for purposes of political and dynastic alliance. No Solarian would imagine defying this code. Solarian names are quite complex. A full name includes, in order, the name of the Solarian's planet, duchy, barony, fiefdom, family, and finally the given name. Solarian government. The Solarian government is called the Solarian Union. It is a labyrinthine web of matrilineal bloodlines, with political alliances formed through interbreeding. Thanks, 1-4. By the way, I think I might have a very long delay on my stream right now. So when you hear potato, do please say potato. And 1-4, I mean, it's one of these things. I'm very happy to have the viewers that I have. I think there are a few reasons why the stream isn't bigger than it is. But I am conscious of the numbers, but I don't obsess about them. I'm very happy to have the people who I have here. I would like it if there was more, but I don't really actively campaign to grow the stream, which I might change. In many ways, the Solarian political network functions like the noble families of Earth's medieval Europe. Structurally, the government consists of fiefdoms, baronies, duchies, planets, and marches, colonization clusters. These are human nicknames. The original Solarian is unpronounceable. Each area is ruled by a single Dalatras, matriarchal head of household, and represents an increasing amount of territory and prestige within the Solarian political web. Approaching 100 members, the first circle of a Solarian's clan comprises parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, and cousins. The next circle includes second cousins, etc., and escalates to well over 100,000 members. The fourth or fifth circle of clan members into the millions. Solarian loyalty is the greatest to their first circle and diminishes from there. Their photographic memories allow Solarians to recognize all their myriad relatives. League of One. Before they joined the Citadel Council, the Solarians' most potent military tool was a small reconnaissance team known as the League of One. Their primary training was in espionage and assassination. Never more than a dozen strong, the team was adept at infiltrating the tightest defenses and eliminating all necessary obstacles. Only a few top members of the government and military were privy to the League's identities. League members wore no distinguishing garments and held no particular rank. The only evidence of their participation in the League was the small medallion presented to each member upon induction. The secrecy was maintained until the formation of the Council. In an effort to dispel rumors and appease their new Asari partners, the Solarian Union released all classified documents pertaining to the League. The League of One was suddenly exposed and in danger of being hunted by enemies of the Solarians. Before any harm could be done, the team mysteriously disappeared. Most assumed that this was a convenient lie to help hide their identities, but a few months later the inner cabinet was murdered. Though there was no incriminating evidence, it was clear who was responsible. Realizing the threat posed by the rogue outfits, the Special Tasks Group dispatched a team of hunters. When they didn't return, the STG dispatched 10 of its brightest operators with broad discretionary powers. Only 2 returned. They reported no evidence of the League. No further incidents were reported, and it was assumed that the League was wiped out. Some recently declassified documents, however, have suggested that there may have been a 13th member who eluded the Solarian military. 2 more to go. Solarian military doctrine. In principle, the Solarian military is a member of the Alliance, a small volunteer army that focuses on maneuver warfare. What differentiates the Solarians is not their equipment or doctrine, but their intelligence services and rules of engagement. The Solarians believe that a war should be won before it begins. Conventional wisdom holds that the Solarians know everything about everyone, and this is not far from the truth. In war, the unquestioned superiority of their intelligence services allows them to use their small military to maximum effectiveness. Well before fighting breaks out, they possess complete knowledge of their enemy's positions, intentions, and timetable. In every war the Solarians have fought, they struck first and without warning. For the Solarians, to know an enemy plans to attack and let it happen is folly. To announce their own plans to attack is insanity. They find the human moral concepts of do not fire until fired upon and declare war before prosecuting it incredibly naive. In defensive wars, they execute devastating preemptive strikes hours before the enemy's own attacks. On the offense, they have never telegraphed their intentions with a declaration of war before attacking. Biotics are virtually unknown in the Solarian military. Those with such abilities are considered too valuable to be used as cannon fodder, and are assigned to the intelligence services. While capable of defending themselves against most threats, the Solarians know that they are small fish in a universe filled with sharks. As a point of survival, they have cultivated strong alliances with larger powers, particularly with the Turians. Though the relationship between the two species was rocky at first due to the Krogan uplift fiasco, the Solarians take pains to keep this relationship strong enough that anyone who might threaten them risks Turian intervention. And finally, the Special Tasks Group. Solarian intelligence field agents are grouped into an organization called the Special Tasks Group. STG operators work in independent cells, performing dangerous missions such as counterterrorism, infiltration, reconnaissance, assassination, and sabotage. The STG is a proactive organization, puncturing worrisome trends before they become movements. At any time, a dozen groups are operating covertly within the lawless Terminus systems, sowing dissent among the various factions. Civilian analysts also note how troublesome hinge point individuals in the Terminus frequently meet with unexpected deaths. STG operators are feared throughout the galaxy for their clear-eyed, remorseless practicality. They are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their mission, even if it kills civilians or results in the team's own destruction. In many ways, they are akin to the Council Spectres. Recently, a number of STG cells have been redeployed from Solarian Union. It is assumed that they are in the Terminus and Attican Traverse, investigating reports of Geth activity beyond the Perseus Veil. I'm just going to take a quick second to write something in chat. All right. On with the game, although I suppose I should Actually, I guess I haven't had a chat with Modron yet. Morden.
Shepard, how can I help?
Is the lab working well for you?
Quite satisfactory. Found a few surveillance bugs. Destroyed most of them. Returned expensive one to Miranda. Nothing unexpected. Just need more samples. More collector data, tissue samples, anything you can get, I can use. Find new tech.
Are there any medical concerns I should be aware of on the team?
Cerberus personnel in excellent condition. No squad concerns to report. Always some matters, but nothing affecting immediate mission.
Any ideas on other ways to prepare for the collectors?
Ideas, yes. Expensive, but possibly valuable. Can show you.
All right.
Shepard, how can I help?
Any ideas on other ways?
Yes. Expensive. Shepard, how can I help?
Any ideas on other ways?
I'm just gonna
Yes.
upgrade
Expensive,
everything I
but
can.
possibly valuable. Can show you.
Morden Omni Tool, tech power down. Yeah, so these ones I'm gonna hold off on.
Let me know if upgrades seem feasible. Can install them whenever you like.
Have you got a minute to talk?
Of course. Plague on Omega dealt with. Plenty of time to analyze collector intelligence. Impressive laboratory setup. Missed working for operations with a budget. AI in particular. Very helpful. Best setup I've seen since work with Special Tasks Group.
Is your assistant Daniel settling in all right?
Quite well. Safe and secure. Neighborhood mostly quiet with Plague gone. Left him the security mechs just in case. Can't be too careful. Also tired of mechs. Noisy. Never used them in STG.
You said you were in the Special Tasks Group. What kind of research were you doing?
Not simply research. Several recon missions. Covert, high risk, served under a young captain named Kirihi. Studied Krogan genophage, took water, tissue samples from Krogan colonies.
I worked with an STG captain named Kirihi. His team helped me destroy Saren's cloning facility on Burmire.
Heard he was part of that. Jury-rigged explosive. Always got job done with limited resources. Good captain. Bit of a cloaca, though. Loved his speeches. Hold the line. Personally prefer to get job done and go home. Probably military bravado, jargon, chest pounding. No offense.
Why would STG study the genophage?
Krogan rebellion's bloody, dangerous, nearly as bad as Rachni attacks. All species evolve, adapt, mutate. If genophage weakens, need to be prepared.
What was the STG preparing to do?
Military schematics for likely Krogan population growth, political scenarios for attack points. Genophage reduced Krogan numbers. Species aggression unchecked, population explosion would be disastrous. STG helped check Krogan rebellions. Needed to be ready to do the same. Simple recon, nothing to worry about.
Thank you very much, Kite, for those retweets and likes. I hope you're doing well.
Why would STG study the genophage?
Krogan rebellion's bloody, dangerous, nearly as bad as Rachni attacks. All
Oh, wait.
species evolve.
I think I already did that.
mutate. If genophage weakens, need to be prepared.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Bioweapon designed by Solarian science team, deployed by Turians against Krogans to end Krogan rebellions more than 1,000 years ago. Affects every cell of Krogan body. Commonly and incorrectly considered a sterility plague. Actually adjusts viable fertility rates to compensate for a high Krogan birth rate. Stabilizes to pre-industrial population growth levels.
Nice talking with you, Morden.
Hey, the
Should
exception.
Get back to work. Need to study. So much data. Here if you need me.
All right. Let's take a quick second to see if I've got any dialogue.
Morden's psych profile warned of hyper behavior, but he is like a hamster on coffee. He's going to be a very productive member of the team. Anyway, what's up?
Is there anything I should know?
You have unread messages at your private terminal. Anything else, Commander?
Do you have a moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
I think we've
better
already
go.
done all this.
Okay. Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
I know!
How may I help you, Commander?
That'll be all.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Okay. Holy smokes. I guess I haven't read all of these. Okay, from the Elusive Man. Shepard, we recently had an incident involving the Geth at one of our outposts in the Skillian Verge. Don't worry, I'm not sending you off to chase anything down. Our operatives waged a highly successful battle against a Geth scouting party and credited their success to a new advanced electrical attack device that we finally let them take out of the lab. Since their unit is being resigned for some rest and relaxation, I thought you should take custody of the weapon in the meantime. The weapon is called an arc projector. I sent it to the Normandy's armory so that you can examine it for yourself and use it if you deem worthy. It's gone through plenty of tests to indicate that it overloads kinetic barriers and synthetic enemies particularly well, but laboratory demonstrations are a poor substitute for actual field reports. We know it works. Now we want to see what it can do in the right hands. If all goes well, we'll use your tactics to train other operatives. Incisor sniper rifle. Shepard, Miranda was reviewing your weapon's auto-recorded telemetry, particularly the hit-to-kill ratio. Being the busybody she is, she sent a request for additional firepower. The techs think something long-range and anti-shield would be useful, so we've issued you an incisor sniper rifle. It would be in the Normandy's armory. Put it through its paces and let us know what you think. Shepard, our researchers have been working with captured collector technology for some time now. They've developed an experimental armor suit in your size and an assault rifle that techs say should take a standard thermal clip. I had the items delivered to the Normandy's armory. Good hunting. Shepard, our armor technicians heard you were back in action and insisted you should be appropriately equipped. They put together a package that I had delivered to the Normandy. You'll find it in your personal quarters. Fortunately, we know your size. Normandy crash site located. From Admiral Hackett. Commander Shepard, our scans in the AMDA system have turned up something that we thought we should see, the final location of the wreckage of the SSV Normandy. We thought this news might be important to you, but we also have an ulterior motive. The Alliance would like to honor the Normandy with a monument to be built on the site of the ship's final resting place. We'd like to invite you to place the monument and to be the first to walk on site. There are still 20 crew members unaccounted for from the attack on the Normandy. If you find any signs of these lost crewmen, we ask that you report to the Alliance so that some of those heroes' families might find some closure. Godspeed to you, Commander. We've definitely read some of these. Project Firewalker. Commander, the MSV Rosalie, the survey ship with Cerberus connections, has gone missing. The survey team was field testing a new prototype, the Hammerhead planet-side exploration rover. In addition, scientists Dr. Manuel Casey and Dr. Robert Oloy are aboard the MSV Rosalie and conducting research for us. We need you to find the ship, her survey team, and the doctors. The MSV Rosalie was last seen near the planet Ziona. Deal struck with Zaid Masani from the Elusive Man. Shepard, we've reached an agreement with veteran mercenary Zaid Masani. You may know the name. Zaid has been involved in some of the best known and some of the most utterly unknown military operations in the Terminus systems, and is feared as a ruthless and relentless bounty hunter. I felt you might need a man with his skills on this mission, so I arranged to have him join you. You'll find him on Omega, where he's wrapping up his current bounty. Don't worry about his fee, I've taken care of that personally. Healing your facial scars from Chief Medical Officer Chakwas. Commander, I've done further investigation regarding your facial scarring. The old adage of mind over matter holds true. Negative attitudes and aggressive acts create adverse reactions with your cybernetic implants, while peaceful thoughts and compassionate actions promote healing. If you maintain a positive outlook, I believe your facial scarring will heal on its own. Otherwise, there is surgical equipment we could use to insulate your cybernetic implants and accelerate your healing regardless of your mental outlook. I've updated plans for new medical equipment to your research terminal in the tech lab. And from Counselor Anderson. On the off chance the rumors are true and you actually are alive, I need you to come and talk to me on the Citadel. A lot has changed in the last 2 years. You put me on the Council, and it's only fair that you be allowed to speak for yourself and what we've been hearing. Alright, less important.
Commander, can I help you with something?
How we doing, Jacob? What's your sense of the mission?
If Morden's modifications hold up, we've got a shot. If they don't, we're dead. Seems like that was always a strong possibility, though. Anything else, Commander?
What do you think of the state of the crew?
Well, we don't have a full complement. We don't stand a chance without the right specialists on side. Anything else, Commander?
Any thoughts on how to prepare against the Collectors?
They spec'd this ship to the original Normandy, but you were there. The Collectors cut her like butter. This armor just isn't top of the line anymore. People will die if we don't upgrade. Alliance had some new toys in secret dev before I left. I could try and pull a few favors.
Oh wow, I really need to get on the I'm not gonna waste my resources
Let me know
anymore.
when you want that, Commander.
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Sounds good. Have to say you run this ship tight, and we're getting things done. We keep on track and maybe we'll figure this out. I hope so. I'm not looking forward to the debrief if it all goes to hell. Is there something specific? Or are you just checking in?
I like to know my crew. Forget procedure. Tell me about yourself.
Informal, huh? Everything's in my file. Ex-Alliance like you, no Reapers or anything, but I got swept under the rug too. The more good you do, the less they want to admit that something needed doing.
Well, you look like you came through no worse for wear.
If nothing else, the Alliance trains their people well. Once you live that life, you can't sit around getting fat. Most of us didn't get a Cerberus rebuild. They outdid themselves with you. Ask for any upgrades?
I'm glad enough they restored me to stock. Couldn't hurt to keep some spare parts handy, though.
I hear that. Your job isn't getting any safer. You know, I used to wonder what the big deal with you was. But now that we're in deep, I'm glad it's not me in the spotlight.
There's no hiding, Jacob. Not for any of us.
Don't worry. This is exactly what I signed on for. If that's all, Commander, I'll get back to my duties. There's a lot to get ready.
What a paragon. So yeah, we'll chat with Miranda, seeing as there's options. Yep. Crew.
It's just too dangerous for them in New Canton. I'm shipping my family back to Earth.
You can afford that?
Cerberus looks out for their own. They're funding the transport for me.
It's the least they can do when we're putting our lives on the line.
Mostly just wanted to check out the armory for the extra stuff.
How can I help you, Commander?
Do you have everything you need?
If you happen to find any of those supplies on the list I gave you, it would be much appreciated. Otherwise, I'm doing fine.
Oh, that's right.
I won't take any more of your time.
Back
It's
to
the
work.
engineers that I needed to chat with. I'll do a quick review of my journal, and then I think we're just going to go back to Omega, but...
Commander, what can I do for you?
Anything I should know regarding the Normandy?
The crew's working well, and the ship appears to be performing to specifications.
Have you got any ideas for potential upgrades we could make?
A few ideas, yeah. Here, take a look. Whenever you have the time and resources, let me know.
Do you have a minute, Miranda?
Of course. I'm just finishing an operation report. I'm impressed, Shepard. So far things have gone exceptionally well. As Cerberus operations go, this is one of the best I've been a part of.
Maybe that's because this isn't a Cerberus operation.
Not to you, maybe. But I report directly to the elusive man. And I'm here because he wants me to be. Cerberus gave you a second chance, Commander. Maybe you should do the same for us.
What did Cerberus do that made you so loyal?
I suppose you deserve to know. Do you remember when I told you how I was genetically altered? Well, that wasn't my choice. My father created me. He's a very influential man and extremely controlling. He didn't want a daughter. He wanted a dynasty. I ran away as soon as I was old and brave enough. I went to Cerberus because I knew they could protect me.
You seem capable of defending yourself. Why did you need Cerberus?
My father invested a great deal in his dynasty. It wasn't a matter of just leaving. I knew he would continue to pursue his investments.
I assume that Cerberus approves of your enhanced abilities?
Of course, Cerberus fully endorses anything that advances the cause of humanity. Genetic alterations included. But unlike my father and his own selfish reasons, Cerberus and the Elusive Man believe in a greater good. They see the bigger picture, and I feel like I have a purpose here.
Talk about yourself like you're just a tool to be used by your father, by Cerberus.
Maybe. I like to know where I fit in the world. It helps me find meaning in how I was created.
You are who you are, Miranda. You don't need to make excuses for it.
That's easy for you to say. We've both been engineered for greatness, Shepard. The difference is you were great before we rebuilt you. I'm great because of it.
Your spirit and personality are what make you great. It's what makes anyone great.
That's kind of you. I'm not sure I believe you, but thanks for saying it.
You've told me a lot about your father. What happened to your mother?
I never had one. Most of my genetic material is based on my father's tissue. His Y chromosome was altered with an amalgam of desired traits from various sources. How arrogant can you be? The man is completely egomaniacal. Just another reason I had to get away from him.
Talk about yourself like you're just a tool.
I already said this.
By your father, by Cerberus.
Maybe. I like to know
you are who you are,
That's
Miranda.
it. The difference is you were great before we rebuilt.
Spirit and
That's kind of you. I'm not sure I believe you, but thanks for saying
I just skipped that because
Who
we've already
exactly
heard
is
it.
your father?
A businessman, but a very wealthy one. It's ironic. My father believed deeply in a human-positive agenda. He donated generously to Cerberus before I joined them. That's how I first heard about Cerberus, through my father's connections.
Thanks for your time, Miranda. I'll talk to you later.
Anytime, Commander.
So Miranda's story was one that I always liked in this, and I think especially too here she's a little. I like the foil with Shepard for sure, but I also really liked the dialogue in terms of being a tool to be used. I always thought that made her a really interesting character. It's actually one of the examples. Mass Effect is one of the few games where I feel I feel.
Green across the board. The forward tanks are buoyant and elevated.
Talking about the Normandy?
I feel a little bit better about the, just kind of keeping quiet and letting the dialogue go by, because it really is worth listening to in this game.
You're the best, Commander. We just got those FBA couplings installed. Now we only have to calibrate every week instead of every day. We're thinking about celebrating our newfound free time with some Skillian 5 poker. Want to join us?
Come on, Kenneth. The commander doesn't want to play cards with grease monkeys like us.
Actually, that sounds interesting.
Fantastic. I'll get the cards.
My Skillian 5's a bit rusty. You'll be easy on the rookie, right?
Of course, Commander. It's all friendly.
Yeah, right.
You've won 500 credits playing Skillian 5. I wonder if that's randomly generated.
Be gentle on the rookie. I can't believe we fell for that.
It's so worth losing to see you taken down a notch.
What can we do for you, Commander?
Carry on.
Will do, Commander.
1-4, I've always felt that there should be some moment where the Scottish guy says to someone, like, give it more power, and somebody else says to him, it's like, but I'm giving her all she's got. I don't know if that'll happen, though. Okay, so we'll take a quick look at the journal. Honestly, I'm just going to do stuff on Omega, because it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for me to just run around and to other systems. But I'd kind of like to know what my priorities are. Hang on. I don't think I've been in cargo yet. Ooh. Oh, neat.
Beauty, isn't it? Pried that off the Krogan warlord, Kazak. Used to run the blood pack out of Omega about 17 years ago. Wasn't even a job. The guy just thought he'd hijack a freighter I was hitchhiking on. Big mistake. I goaded Kazak into one-on-one combat. Took out his legs, grabbed his gun, and killed every blood pack bastard in the room. That was the most beaten Krogan I've ever seen. Kept a helmet to remind me of that pained expression. Hey, don't touch. That rifle's older than you are. I call her Jessie. That's my lucky charm. More men have been killed with that gun than died in the Skillian Blitz. The day I laid her to rest was the saddest day of my life. I give up every weapon I own for one more mission with that shitty old rifle.
Cool. We're space polluters.
Thinking about past missions. Got a minute? You might learn something.
So I guess we don't.
I was trying to remember how many Cerberus operatives I've killed. Lost track around 50.
So I don't think there's any substantial dialogue with this guy. It's just just one note. He's a badass. Don't mess with him. He'll keep telling you about how tough he is. All right, I think we got some ships on. Yep, we absolutely did. I don't think I've heard this song before. It's good. I would feel very triumphant if I walked into my room and this started playing. All right, you guys have been very patient. Let's take a look at the journal and see what we got. Okay, FBA's done. So we've got Archangel. So you had taken a mission to go to Zoria to okay. So definitely do Archangel first. And we're just Omega, okay. So I'll double check for the ice brandy and the special ingredients, but I'm pretty sure we won't find them in the markets. Zaid's so cool. Just ask him and he'll tell you himself. How you doing tonight, Sean Bean? If you, I suspect you're just coming in now. If you check out the beginning of the stream, we played a game that's on Kickstarter right now called Nighthawks. It's a really interesting sort of story RPG, and I'm definitely doing my best to get the word out. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can either do !KS, or you can watch the VOD and see what it looks like. Moving right along. Yeah, sure thing. So they released a I don't even want to call it a playable demo. It's a vertical slice. It's basically just showing you what it's basically the thing that they used to make the trailers. So you don't have a lot of variety, you don't have a lot of options. But it gives you a chance to be the one going in and pushing the buttons, and I think that makes all the difference. So what are we looking at here? Submachine heavy pistols, submachine heavy pistol shotgun. So why do I want you? He's got incinerate. I think we'll go with the Cerberus team for now. And I've got points to spend, but I think I wanted to go max in operative first. Oh, damn it. We'll just auto level my team. Surely it can tell me what the difference is. Effective against armor, weaker against shields and biotics. Keep everything the way it was before.
The plague has been completely eradicated, Shepard. Dr. Solis's assistant has been helping any patients with complications. I have also accessed messages between mercenary groups regarding plans to deal with the Archangel. There's a recruiting station at Afterlife that may have information on him.
Okay, so we'll go to Afterlife, but I want to take a quick second just to make sure that there isn't anything at the stores that I can pick up. Tell me more. All right. So I was always wondering if those guys with like the multiple eyes and the really deep voices are like the one who's calling everyone unclean. If those were the Batarians. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's a Batarian. I'm cool with sniper rifle damage.
This might be useful.
Can't compete with Batarians when it comes to terror tactics. Sure, Krogan will charge you, tear your face off, kill your family, but Batarians will turn your planet into a glass parking lot without a second thought.
What do you want?
What's behind this door?
VIP section of the club. For those with the right name. Do you want something?
I'd like to join the party.
This really isn't your kind of place. Afterlife's main floor has lots of drinks and great music.
Well, damn. Tell me about how bad I am.
End is not.
Preach it.
Humans rely on galactic purity. You, sir, you are a blight. You and you.
He's number 2 to Talos guy, but he's alright as far as Mad Prophets go. Actually, okay. Mad Prophets, number 1, Howard Beale, number 2, the guy from Skyrim, and then number 3, that guy. Go ahead.
Ari's
Talk.
expecting me.
Annoyed. If she were expecting you, you'd be inside.
I like the Alcor.
10 people in while I've been standing here.
I really like the atmosphere in Afterlife. It just, I remember when I like opened the door and walked in, it was like, I was just like, oh my god, like I had not played games for a while, so I was like, oh my god, like I didn't know games were like this. These things are awesome. So, but this is by far my favorite thing to do in Afterlife. Just the look on the guy afterwards.
You want to talk? Talk to Aria.
Aria has a job she needs doing. You up for some work?
That depends on what Arya has in mind.
Arya's gotten word that some blood-packed mercs plan to kill an old acquaintance of hers. A Krogan named Patriarch. She'd like you to keep that from happening.
What's the Blood Pack's problem with Patriarch?
If you've met Patriarch, you know. He can't keep his damn mouth shut. Some people don't appreciate his stories, especially when he dips into non-fiction.
What's Arya's interest in protecting him?
Patriarch was one of her deadliest enemies back in the old days. Now she keeps what's left of him around as a trophy. As long as he lives, he's a perfect example of what happens when you go up against Arya.
Why come to me? Arya's usual muscle nut up for the job?
Because Arya said so. What other reason do you need?
People like Arya don't do things without a damn good reason. I want to hear it.
Fine, but I didn't tell you this, got me? If it gets out that Arya's protecting Patriarch, well, that can look like a weakness. And some people might want to exploit that. You're not on her payroll, so you helping Patriarch just seems like a random act of kindness.
I'll look into it.
Good. Patriarch's downstairs, likely surrounded by his fans. Get him into hiding until the mercs move on. Come back here when it's done, and you'll get your due.
I'll be back when the job's done.
Good luck.
I'm busy.
Doing what?
Oh, what?
Stop poking me! Sorry. Wait, did it say Liara Tassoni? Yeah. No, that's Arya. Okay. I get to do this to a Batarian. It's not quite the same as a Turian. Turian looks absolutely spectacular when you just silently walk away. I think Patriarch's in there, but I want to take a peek at what's going on. Paragon's dance. It's renegades who think they're too cool. They really put their all into those animations. Why can't Shepard dance like that? Nope, 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 nope. That guy's not gonna let me back in.
No. You said he had close family. They'll just want revenge. Kill the family first,
Then he'll get angry, come at you stupid. And then you kill him. I don't think I know you, human. I'm the Patriarch. Aria's Patriarch. What do you want?
Is it true that you have 4...
What do you know about Arya?
A few centuries ago, Omega was my rock. When Arya arrived, she had nothing but the clothes on her back. I thought she was another dancer. She killed half my men and convinced the rest that she could run this place better than I did. She came for me here in this bar. We tore this place apart. She crushed one of my hearts, shattered half the bones in my body, and left me alive.
What made her decide to leave you alive?
No, she doesn't destroy what she can use. She said I could have all my old comforts if I served as her advisor. I knew how things worked. I knew who to lean on, who to smack down, who to smile at. And everyone who respected me saw me beaten, broken. They knew that as strong as I'd been, she was stronger.
Rumor has it some people want you dead. Know anything about that?
Oh, I can think of a few. I know things. Old secrets, old grudges. Few floors you can dig up to find bodies underneath. Someone who wanted to weaken Arya might come after me. They do it to get to her, you see, not for me. I don't matter enough anymore to have enemies of my own.
Why do they call you Patriarch?
It's like an Asari matriarch, only male. It was Arya's little joke. After she took me down, she let me live. Kept me around as an advisor and a trophy.
A Krogan as old as you must have some great stories.
I killed a lot of people, lived well, and was beaten by a small Asari who keeps me around as an example. My time is done. Anyone I killed is long forgotten. The stories are Arya's now.
Some people want you dead. I've been asked to move you to safety.
Well, of course. Arya wouldn't want me hurt. It would make her look bad. But perhaps Arya's reputation is no longer my concern. Perhaps I will stay. See who thinks me important enough to kill.
Here's an idea. Let me handle the assassins for you.
And so your name grows, while I remain an old man who lets others fight his battle.
No. You remain a powerful warlord with forces at his command. Now it's just Arya's trophy.
Well, you could be my Trent, fighting for my honor. If you would do this for me, I would be grateful. I might even be a Krogan again.
Find the thugs. Find the thugs in or near Afterlife and kill them on behalf of the Patriarch. Hey, see any mercenaries around here? And 1-4, I've never played Vampire the Masquerade. Oh, hang on. Bloodlines. So I am told, though, that they are a sight to behold.
Out of our way, human.
You here for Patriarch?
What if we are? You gonna do something about it?
Patriarch sent us. Said to do whatever it takes.
Your Patriarch's Krant? I wasn't aware the old man had one.
You should have done your homework.
Hey, the Eyes of Sin, no problem. I think you would like the game that I played at the beginning of this broadcast very much. So, you may want to check out the VOD, but I'm very happy to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
You killed them all. And everyone knows that the Patriarch is not to be crossed. Thanks to you, Arya may think of me as more than a trophy. A real advisor, maybe. Or even a threat.
Take care, Patriarch.
For the first time, I like that name. By the way, be careful with Arya. She will approve of what you've done, I think. But not of you altering the balance of Omega. I think it reminds her too much of herself.
Speak to Grizz on the Afterlife main floor and tell him what happened to the Patriarch. It's treating me well. I mean, I've not been playing too much of it so far. I did a lot of the journal entries and such, but I like this game a lot. I think it hit... So one of the things is, obviously this game does sort of show its age in terms of the models and such, but it's not so remote that it isn't a great looking game still. It's in this nice spot, so like the original Toy Story movie sort of holds up, not because it looks the best, but it's, you know, the story's good enough and the animation's good enough for it to be an entertaining children's film. And I think Mass Effect 2 lives in this really nice space, which is obviously, you know, the... Sorry, I have to do it. We'll wait. I'll talk about Mass Effect. So, you know, like obviously anything that's made in Frostbite is gonna look amazing now, right? So you've got, whether it's Andromeda or you know, or Dragon Age Inquisition or any of these things. There's a reason why EA put so much into that engine and why it's more or less mandatory to use it on their projects. I don't know if that's an official requirement, but obviously there's some games that have really struggled with it. But with that in mind, right, like even though there are better looking games, I think Mass Effect 2 has just enough tech to realize the world, to make it credible and make it interesting. And then the story does the rest of the work. So it's in this really nice spot. There's two ways that I think a game can work well. You've got, on one hand, sort of the latest tech, and I still remember that moment in Battlefield 1. And I mean, it might as well just be a video file. But you've got the driver, and he's tapping away at the steering wheel. He's got these perfect white gloves as a chauffeur, and then he looks at the palm of his hands, and then it cuts, and they are black and covered in mud and blood and soot. And everything you need to know about that character has been revealed in that. And that's a very cinematic technique that's been enabled because game engines look so good now. You know, another great example of this would be Wolfenstein, which takes a lot of cinematic techniques and uses them well. And then the other way that this can happen, I think, is a game like Mass Effect, which doesn't necessarily need to have... So the thing is that I think Mass Effect 2 has aged rather well. Again, I'd love to make a game that looks like this. But in this case here, you've got just enough to get a glimpse on the world and make it credible. But you care enough about what's going on that like it isn't the end of the world, that maybe every once in a while like some teeth look like chiclets or something like that, or whatever. I guess you guys don't have chiclets in the US or wherever you're from. Anyways. Yeah. Never gonna get tired of it. You do have chiclets, or used to. It's a Canadian invention, did you know?
Arya wants to speak with you. She heard you took on the Blood Pack assassins yourself. I wouldn't keep her waiting. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Is he doing what? Go away where? I want to be a member of your merc group. Why won't you let me? I don't even know if chiclets are still a thing, but...
Word has it that Patriarch's Krant took out the men sent here to kill him. Funny, I didn't know he had a Krant.
Patriarch has more influence than you thought.
I see. Well, maybe I should watch my back then. It's not what I asked, but you got the job done.
Why do you look so mad all the time?
Do you need something else?
So you must know what's what on Omega.
Everything that's worth knowing. I don't usually give it out freely. Information is power. Mundane things you can find yourself. Take a walk in a back alley or buy one of the mercs a drink. Better yet, talk to the entertainers. They give great tours. Just don't waste my time.
We friendly enough to talk about who you were before Omega?
You're reaching back centuries, Shepard. Long before anything that should matter to you.
So why keep it secret?
No reason, from your perspective. But there are plenty of people out there with long memories. I've had a few careers, a few names. Commando training, mercenary leanings. I've kept what was valuable and dropped the baggage.
I thought you were in charge. Why so scared of your past?
I have nothing to fear on Omega. That doesn't mean I want to broadcast my past to the galaxy. You'd be surprised how long some entities can hold a grudge. This little exercise with Patriarch? A footnote. Not even the first Krogan I've pissed off.
You're important, but also isolated. No other allies out there to back you up?
I lean toward a particular type of work. It tends to encourage professional rivalry. Sometimes you'd rather disappear than be forced to kill someone.
You couldn't have started here with nothing. You must have been someone important.
I've always been important, even if others didn't recognize it. So yes, I had money to start this operation. I also had creditors who thought they were more entitled to it. I let them chase a ghost, or several. It's relatively easy to outlive a Solarian, but not their record keeping.
That's a really good line.
All right, I'll drop it.
Better luck next time.
I got everything I wanted.
One scan and we're straight to business. People are usually more concerned about who I am.
Your death was downplayed, but hardly what I call a secret. I had to make sure it was really you. You could have been anyone, anything. Whatever you need will come out on its own. I'm curious, but Omega doesn't really care about you.
Sounds like you and Patriarch have a history.
Our history is Omega's history. Long, bloody, and always ending in my favor. The details are complicated. When I arrived, Omega was lawless, a land of opportunity. I built alliances and destroyed the fools who wouldn't get in line, which was most of them. But Patriarch, he was something different. A powerful friend.
I'm surprised you were ever anything but rivals.
We were allies for 100 years. I suppose he decided that was long enough. Wasn't a surprise when he turned. He controlled the muscle, my people contributed more subtle action. Espionage, politics, assassination. Fortunately for me, his men had become accustomed to certain benefits of working with Asari.
Superior intel? Assassination?
That's cute. No, I took advantage of certain skills my people try to downplay. Patriarch's men abandoned him in droves. In the end, we fought face to face on this very spot. The toughest fight of my life. But of course I won.
Yeah, Sean Bean, I still need to play them, but I understand they were built on I think it's called the Aurora engine. Whereas this is Unreal. And again, like, so I feel really bad talking about engines like this because really the conversations about them get really ridiculous. It's almost like a new version of the console wars. I can remember when a new version of Unity was announced and like a bunch of Unreal fans went into the live announcement and were busy talking about how much better Unreal was. It's like, they are tools, and I like the fact that the tools are getting better and cheaper with each continuing year. But obviously, I think what's really interesting is when you look at a transition from, say, a Dragon Age to... Actually, I think the thing that's really interesting about the story between Dragon Age and Mass Effect obviously has the Unreal Engine to build on and then moves into Frostbite. Then I think there's the Aurora engine for Dragon Age, which eventually moves on to Frostbite. Now, Inquisition was able to do the migration to Frostbite and seems to have come out relatively unscathed, whereas Andromeda was the one from Mass Effect that went to Frostbite. And from what I understand, like, it was apparently difficult for both teams to do the transition, but apparently it was enough to sort of really disrupt what happened in Andromeda, which is a shame. But I have a feeling that because some things are designed to do certain things well, that's sometimes why you have like games that are made by the same people around the same time that have these very substantial changes in look or feel, because you need to make some choices in terms of what you enable. Like, there's no such thing. It's a little bit like in statistics. Like, we were looking for this test that we could do on a regression that we were running, and then I eventually, like, I'm trying to grind through these equations. I'm like, how the hell am I going to find this? And then I realized it's like what we're looking for is basically a test which, if we found it, we would be able to compare every single regression that's ever been run in the world and come up with a ranking of the best regressions, which is clearly ridiculous. That can't happen. That was my very informal proof by contradiction. But yeah, like, with that in mind, like, I'm sure, you know, it's a really good school project to like try and make quote unquote the perfect engine, but it's one of these things where I'm sure you could consume your whole life and never ever finish something like that.
Patriarch doesn't sound like something an Asari would come up with.
I found it humorous. He wanted power, and we pretended he had it with a word that doesn't exist for my people. I eventually found a certain respect for the title and the man.
So you kept him around as a trophy?
I did. A trophy and an example. Whenever someone thought about taking me on, I pointed them to Patriarch. Dignity is one of the few commodities not available on Omega.
Interesting. But let's move on.
Do you need something else?
I'm trying to track down Archangel.
You and half of Omega. You want him dead too?
Why is everyone after him?
He thinks he's fighting on the side of good. There is no good side to Omega. Everything he does pisses someone off. It's catching up to him.
Just the kind of guy I'm looking for.
Really? Well, aren't you interesting? You're gonna make some enemies teaming up with Archangel. That's assuming you can get to him. He's in a bit of trouble right now.
What kind of trouble?
The local merc groups have joined forces to take him down. They've got him cornered, but it sounds like they're having trouble finishing him off. They've started hiring anybody with a gun to help them.
Sounds like that might be our ticket in.
They're using a private room for recruiting. Just over there. I'm sure they'll sign you up.
Which merc groups are after Archangel?
Blue Suns, Eclipse, Blood Pack. They're Omega's major players. Unless they're at war, you'll never see them together. But one thing they hate more than each other is Archangel.
Do you hate Archangel?
I don't have time for hate, but I distrust them all equally. For now, I'm happy just to let them kill each other.
What can you tell me about Archangel?
Not as much as I'd like. He showed up here several months ago and started causing all sorts of problems. If you make your own laws, which everyone here does, he makes life difficult. He's reckless and idealistic. But he seems to know enough to stay clear of me.
I appreciate the help.
See if you still feel that way when the mercs realize you're here to help him.
Sounds like I don't have much time to waste.
You've got all the time in the world.
Archangel? Not so much.
I hear you're recruiting.
Why don't you step inside?
What do you mean? Don't you mean?
It's done, just like everyone else. Who's next? Well, aren't you sweet? You're in the wrong place, honey. Strippers' quarters are that way. Wow, not even a smile. So you're here to fight then?
Sure, if this is the place to go after Archangel.
This is the place. Standard fee is 500 credits each. You get paid when the job's done. If you die, your friends don't collect your share. You'll need your own weapons and armor. Looks like you got that covered. And no, this does not make you a member of the Blue Suns, Eclipse, or the Blood Pack. You are a freelancer, period. Any questions?
Seems like a lot of trouble for just one guy.
You had a whole team, but we've dealt with them. Now he's just one guy. But he's got the advantage. It's his base of operations and he knows we're coming. He's planned for an attack like this. We've lost a lot of men trying to get to him already.
It's gonna be tough to get to him.
Like chasing a Vorch out of the sewer pipes. But that's why we're recruiting. If we just keep throwing fighters at him, we'll get him eventually.
What do we do once we're there? How do we get to Archangel?
The mercs will tell you when you get there. Last I heard, they were putting the freelancers into scouting groups. They attack in waves to distract Archangel while we try to get past his defenses.
So we're just fodder for his bullets?
If you don't like it, don't sign up. But if you do your job right, it's easy credits. Besides, what are the odds he can kill all of you?
What a motivating.
Where's the attack taking place?
Archangel's base of operations. He's been hiding right under our noses. I can't tell you exactly where you're going, but we'll get you there.
Why are the mercs working together to take down Archangel?
You haven't been on Omega long, huh? He does everything he can to screw with us. Shipments go missing, operations are compromised. Every month it gets worse. Tarek and the other bosses are tired of losing credits. And men.
Is he a heavy hitter? How many merc bosses are involved in this attack?
Yeah, Tarek runs the Blue Suns, but all three bosses are overseeing the operation. Jared's leading the Eclipse and Garm's the head of the Blood Pack. Tarek's in charge, but the others would never say that. I'm surprised they're in on this at all, but I guess getting rid of Archangel is worth it.
Yeah, we've done all these. How you doing tonight? Yep.
Just head over to the transport depot outside the club. One of our boys will take you from there. Send in the next one.
Hey, is this where I sign up?
You look a little young to be freelancing as a merc.
I'm old enough. I grew up on Omega. I know how to use a gun.
So does Archangel.
I can handle myself. Besides, I just spent 50 credits on this pistol and I want to use it.
Get your money back.
Hey, what are you...
Trust me, kid. You'll thank me later.
So, the obvious answer to the stripper comment is to do the renegade action, and I'm sure that would be very satisfying, but I did want to be unfazed rather than indicate that I was bothered by it.
So, I heard a human went into the plague zone. Then I found out about a lot of dead Vorcha down there. You know anything about this?
Dead Vorcha? No. Don't know anything about that.
Uh-huh. Right. Well, my job just got a whole lot easier.
What's your job here exactly?
I'm supposed to keep the Vorcha in line. Keep them out of Arya's sight. That's about it. Not much for me to do anymore. But the way those Vorcha breed, I'll have something to do soon enough.
The last couple of weeks have not been that great, to be totally honest, but I'm very happy to be back streaming. We did a really cool game that's on Kickstarter right now called Nighthawks. If you do !KS, you can take a look. Obviously, you can go to the beginning of the VOD and see what it looks like, or possibly download the demo yourself. And I know this sounds really small, But I got 2 new books. One of them was a used book, Paul Samuelson's Foundations of Mathematical Economics. It's a very influential book. It's also quite an old one. I think the original edition was published in 53? It's 1950s, I'm pretty sure. The update is 1983. It's a very difficult book, but I think there's still some things about it that are worth keeping. That's why I got it in my library. And I got an unexpected Amazon package. Well, I knew it was coming, but I didn't expect it to be so quick. I have a copy of a book that came out, I think it was this year, called The Marshall Plan. It's a very good history of the Marshall Plan, which, if you guys don't know what that is, I will be sure to do it on... Yeah, Samuelson is not going to be for pleasure, but the Marshall Plan is a really well-written one. And if you guys don't know what the Marshall Plan is, I will be sure to do some kind of a stream that is oriented around it. So.
There's an awful lot of Vorcha here. What are they planning?
Vorcha? Plan? They're a pestilence, nothing more. If they started planning, we'd all be in big trouble.
I'll just be going.
Keep up the good work.
It's funny, there is a guy from a bar who kind of annoyed some people, and I just... I feel bad saying this because it is theoretically possible that this person might one day see the stream and they might hear this, so it is gossipy and it is sort of hearsay, but it's the account that I got from those present at the moment, and it's just unfortunate that this name is so famous, but the guy's name was George Marshall, so it was the very opposite of what the general was. But just so we're on the same page, we're talking about the American initiative to aid Western Europe way back when. Absolutely, yes. You know what it is, helping poor Europe so we can yeah, no, it's a really, that's exactly what it is. It's a really good book explaining the context for that decision and why it was so important. I believe it is written by an economist. I think the author works at the Council on Foreign Relations. Anyways, it's an excellent book, very good read, and I think it presents it in a way that's really satisfying.
I'm on the mission.
I hope you're ready. Archangel's been annihilating you freelancers.
By the way, somebody obviously resubbed because it incremented by 1, but I didn't see an alert. Let me just take a quick second. Maybe somebody just didn't do the alert, but whoever did that, thank you.
Ready when you are.
Get in.
Was that you, Yep? I'm especially glad that you sub, because I know I don't get to stream that often for you. And I know we talked about some future collaboration ideas. I like that. I really, really like that emoji. I think I'm going to go with Miranda and Jacob again. It is you. Okay.
It's about time they sent me someone who looks like they can actually fight. They tell you what we're up against?
The recruiter was a little vague.
We wouldn't get many hires if everyone knew the truth. Archangel's holed up in a building at the end of the boulevard over there. He's got superior position, and the only way in is over a very exposed bridge. It's a killing ground, but he's getting tired of making mistakes. We'll have him soon enough.
1-4. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. We're slowly bringing that number up to the peak that it was at before. So guys, that's very kind of you. That's 2 subscriptions tonight. After I was feeling a little sorry for myself for going further away from that 2K number. So I appreciate it a lot. Again, I'm very conscious of the fact that there are people who do this for a living, and there are some people who you may have any number of very good reasons to support financially. And more importantly, that money is money that you have set aside your time to earn. So I appreciate it a lot, especially because some of you, I know the exact circumstances under which you are subscribing. And it really means a lot. I never want to take that for granted. So again, obviously by introducing subs, there is this idea of kind of 2 tiers of viewer. But because Amanda's given me these really wonderful emotes, I think that's one way that we can keep it so that everybody can still enjoy the stream, and I can do a little something to sort of offset the cost of these things. So thank you for that. It is, as always, one of the few things that I'm willing to put over the gameplay, to recognize the subs, the follows, and whatnot.
You guys have a plan?
A small team is waiting to infiltrate his hideout, but we need to draw Archangel's fire so they can move in.
And that's where we come in.
Exactly. You'll be on a distraction team. Head straight over the bridge and keep Archangel busy so the infiltration team can sneak in behind him.
Sounds like a suicide mission to me.
Pretty much, but you look like you can handle it. Head up to the boulevard and get to the 3rd barricade. Talk to Sergeant Katka. He'll tell you when to go in.
So the bridge is the only way to his hideout?
Exactly. Archangel collapsed all the underground passageways and sealed the doors to the lower levels. We've got teams digging, but it's taking too long. If they can get the gunship flying again, that'll help. But I'm hoping the infiltration team will finish the job and we can all go home.
They were using a gunship to take out one guy?
Yeah, and Archangel shut it down. He didn't destroy it, but he knew just where to hit it to disable it. It wasn't even a fair fight. At least not for us.
Where's the infiltration team now?
On the far side of the bridge near his hideout, but they can't get any closer without being seen.
How'd they get that close without being seen?
More distractions. Tarek used a gunship to keep Archangel busy. We were able to sneak a few men into his hideout before he took it down, but they're stuck there. We need to keep Archangel focused on the bridge so he doesn't find them and wipe them out.
Oh, that's great to hear, 1-4. I hope you have some big plans, or at least a lot of relaxation ahead of you for your vacation. I've not taken a vacation in a very long time, and I feel like I need to.
What do you know about Archangel?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I just do logistics. Tarek and the other merc bosses have been dealing with him for a while now. But don't be surprised if they're not thrilled about talking to a freelancer.
I better go find Sergeant Katka.
Good idea. Watch yourself on the boulevard. Archangel's killed dozens out there already.
Yeah, but I'm Commander Shepard, so I don't need to worry about it.
We might have a way in, but getting out could be interesting.
Let's find him first. Then we'll figure out how to get back.
Shepard, I've scanned the area, but I am unable to plot any other paths to Archangel.
Guess we're going with the mercs.
The heavy mechs and gunship possess considerable firepower. Weakening them before leaving will improve your chances.
As the first wave goes in, the infiltration team will attempt to take Archangel.
Tarek, I've spoken to Garm, and he and his men are on board. Assuming this operation is successful, we can count on high morale and expensive buy-in from the men. From the losses we've already taken, possibility exists that we won't have the men needed to continue on to the next objective. It's clear, though, that none of our organizations would be ready to move on Aria without the assistance of the other two. To say Sergeant... I wish it was Sergeant Kafka, but... I don't believe so.
I don't expect much from the freelance. The light mechs go in first. If that's not enough, we send in the heavy. Be prepared. Do you need something?
You lead the Eclipse?
You figure that out by yourself? I'm Jareth. I run Omega's Eclipse. What do you need, freelancer?
So the infiltration team is the main focus of the attack.
Tarek's plan, not mine. He doesn't want to lose any more men, so he's throwing you freelancers at the problem. Archangel's not going anywhere, so I suppose there's no harm in trying. Who knows? maybe you'll get lucky.
Why are Eclipse on Omega in the first place?
Since you care so much, Eclipse controls almost 20% of Omega. Our transports and mechs keep the EZO moving.
Sounds very organized.
Eclipse runs like a well-oiled machine, but Omega is anything but organized. It's a constant battle for control. Then Archangel comes along and complicates things even more.
Why does Archangel give you so much trouble?
Ask him. I'm just here to make as much money as I can. We didn't come to Omega to be constrained by laws and regulations. He'll regret ever coming to Omega, I promise you.
Seems like this is personal for you.
He raided one of my transports last month, killed 2 of my best operatives. One of them was my brother, so yes, it's pretty damn personal.
What do you know about Archangel?
His life expectancy is shortening quickly.
Is that it? Nobody seems to know anything about him.
Look around, you'll learn what you need to know. He's smart, he's resourceful, and he's dangerous. But we've got him cornered. He won't be making fools of us much longer. Can I assist you further?
One for his leg needs some doctor's work, so it's after your vacation you're calling in sick to do more relaxation. Smart plan.
Where did he come from? Who is he?
Even his team didn't know that. Maybe we'll know more once we have his body. Of course, it really won't matter then.
I'll get going.
Good idea.
I'm sure I'm supposed to go through that other door, but I just want to make sure that I've talked to everybody that I can, because it looks like there's some other details. There's some other details that I want to find in this level. Obviously, that information about a potential overthrow of Arya is something that I can use. $200 IQ. I won't say I'm ashamed to admit, but I must confess that I have never taken an IQ test. I kind of think that there's not a big advantage for me taking one, because I think people, at the risk of sounding a little too full of myself, people kind of assume that I would do well. So all that I can do is either confirm positive suspicions or like, you know, fall short of those expectations, which isn't advantageous to me. So it's all downside. What I have found really funny, though, is this obsession with IQ on Twitter. I remember there were like some... I can't remember. It was some guy who was going out, and it's like, you know, if you're applying for a job, you need to send them your IQ score, like a professionally done IQ score, rather than a resume. And if they don't hire you, it's because they're not smart enough or they're intimidated by your intelligence. And I'm like, yeah, that's great job advice there. They made you take it for placement since you didn't grow. Oh, that's wild. I did not know that. I did not know that was a thing. That seems... I don't know a lot about IQ, but I feel like there are other types of testing that you could do that might be... Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know that much about the IQ test, but...
That should slow them down.
Perfect. It'll be hostile if they activate it.
Oh. You sure it's not just because you're shy about your age?
You're in the wrong place, freelancer.
You the Blood Pack leader?
Name's Garm. That's all you need to know. I'm stuck here waiting till you freelancers are done playing war. Ask your questions and go.
When did the Blood Pack attack?
Damn Tarek wants us to wait. I hate waiting. But he says the Suns have a plan, and they don't want us getting in their way. We're supposed to wait until the Eclipse send their mechs. We'll see.
Why are the Blood Pack on Omega?
We're the muscle on this bloody station. You need protection or want someone removed, talk to us. The Blood Pack are everywhere on Omega. Everybody loves us, and everybody hates us.
I'm guessing Archangel mostly just hates you.
He's just an uptight asshole. I don't really care what he thinks. But he's costing me men and making me work for my money. I'll be the one to take him out today. You watch. I'm the only one who's fought him one-on-one.
What do you know about Archangel?
He's a pain in the ass. He's a Turian, which makes him slightly worse to look at than you. And he's brave, till he realizes you're more than he bargained for.
Sounds like you've had personal experience.
He tried to take me down once. Waited till I was alone. Longest damn fight of my life. But I held him off till my men showed up. He wasn't so tough after that. We chased him over half of Omega. Almost had him. But the slippery bastard snuck away before we could pin him down.
I can't remember if we did Blood
Why
Pack
are
or
the
not.
Blood Pack on Omega?
We're the muscle on this bloody station. You need protection or want someone removed, talk to us. The Blood Pack are everywhere on Omega. Everybody loves us, and everybody hates us.
Okay, yeah, I did do that already. I was just gonna say 6 hours is not so bad if you consider the imperial examination for China, which I think was something like 3 days, and you weren't. Oh, okay then. You weren't allowed to like leave. You had to be in your room the whole time. I really need this code to show up. There we go. Hey, did you see that guy get shot?
This should come in handy.
Cool. Oh, and the entire time there were 1 to 4 people looking at you and writing something with emotionless faces. I really don't think I am ever going to want to write that test.
I'm looking for Sergeant Kafka.
You and me both, lady. He's over there working on the gunship. We go over the bridge when he gives the word. Go talk to him if you want, but I'm in no hurry.
I'll be right back.
Good luck.
What do you want, freelancer? Go
Mr.
report
Chat?
to Kafka.
What about
now,
you?
Human.
Come on.
Don't you have a job to do?
No, it's part of my job to talk to you.
Want freelancer? I don't want excuses. Tell Kafka to get that gunship working, or he'll be next over that bridge. Get this freelancer out of here. I don't have time for this shit.
I just have a few questions about the operation.
Get this scum out of my face.
Over here. The next wave's going soon. Shouldn't you be outside getting ready?
Why is he so pissed off?
He's not a big fan of you freelancers. Doesn't trust people he doesn't know. Hates having to bring in outsiders. What do you want to know?
What's Tarek gonna do if the infiltration team fails?
To start, he'll shoot any freelancers that are still alive. After that, he'll let Eclipse and the Blood Pack take their shots. I suggested we work together, but he doesn't trust the other groups.
What if Archangel survives all the attacks? Then you sons are on your own.
That's why Tarek wants that gunship fixed so badly. But it won't come to that. Archangel's good, but he can't hold out that long. He's already been in there over a day.
What do the Blue Suns do on Omega?
We supply goods to a lot of the groups and factions here.
Goods?
Weapons, mechs, machinery, you name it, we can get it. We also broker deals between factions. You wouldn't know it to look at him now, but Tarek can be quite a negotiator.
How did Archangel get the Blue Suns so mad at him?
He harasses and hounds us constantly. We worry that every job is a trap now. Does he know where this meeting is? Will this shipment suddenly disappear? How many men will we lose this time? Tarek's had enough. I don't blame him.
What do you know about Archangel?
He's a Turian vigilante who thinks killing mercs is a fun way to pass the time. Other than that, he's a mystery. He shows up, usually at the worst possible time, and screws with our work. He can't die soon enough, if you ask me.
Why do you hate him so much?
He went after Tarek, at his home. Almost got him. Tarek's been on edge ever since, and he's making my life a living hell. Second guesses every damn thing I do. Getting the other merc bands to help us shows you just how desperate he is. They're as bad as Archangel.
We better get going.
Good idea. Make sure you check in with Kafka.
Yeah, so yep, I was reading up about the British, like the Queen's Guard. And they talk a little bit about how they pass the time. I think they wind up seeing how much. So one of them mentioned that he tries to see how much of a movie he can sort of play through by memory. And apparently you get really good at that over time. Like apparently you can just play entire movies in your head.
Kafka?
Sergeant Kafka. You must be the group Salky mentioned. You're just in time.
Salky?
You met him when you were dropped off. He radioed to say you were coming. You three kind of stand out from most of the other freelancers. Anyway, the infiltration team is about to give us a signal. Archangel won't know what hit him. Got any questions? This may be your last chance.
Are you gonna give us cover with the gunship?
Huh. Tarek is the only one who flies her. Besides, she's not quite ready. That bastard Archangel gave her a beating last time she was out there. A few more tweaks, she'll be as good as new.
So here's a question to you about that cigarette. Did Batarians develop cigarettes on their own? Or is one of the things that humanity has brought to interstellar commerce is tobacco?
Why are you coordinating the attack and fixing gunships?
I'm in the infiltration group. Our team coordinates with the gunship. I'm staying back to organize the freelancers and make sure the gunship's ready to go if we need her.
So our plan is to jump the wall and head for Archangel's building?
Try not to get killed too fast. You're only a distraction, as long as you're alive. You don't have to make it all the way across. Just keep Archangel watching that bridge. The infiltration team will do the rest.
How will the infiltration team get to Archangel?
They've got two options.
I don't
They
think the
trap
helmet
him in
covers
close
the full
quarters
face.
and finish the bastard off face to face. If that doesn't work, they have explosives. They'll just need time to set up.
So the bridge is the only way in.
Until the gunship's working again or the blasters finish with the tunnels. Look, we got a plan. We don't need you trying to come up with any great ideas. Just do your damn job, collect your credits, and go home.
Are you leading the assault?
Ha! Tarek doesn't pay me to fight. I just plan the attacks and fix the damn gunship. You freelancers get the privilege of fighting. Check. Bravo team, go, go, go!
That guy looks like a dark-haired version of the Chad meme.
Waiting for him. But that means no more waiting for me. Gotta get her back to 100% before Tarek decides he needs her again. Where did I put that Omni tool?
Doesn't look like Archangel's
I
got
probably should have did that renegade
Don't wait
move.
around too long.
Come on, we'll give these guys a surprise of our own. Enemies in front!
This was Archangel. Crap! I got it.
Give me my sniper rifle back. Wait a minute. Oh, thank God. Go!
Got no shields!
Yeah, I'm definitely not so good with the controls. I've been I need to learn them again. I keep forgetting there's so little ammo for the sniper rifle in this one.
We can use this. On our right.
Don't worry. Door has been sealed by authority of the base commander. Authorization Archangel. I want to make sure I get all the loot before we go and save anyone. All right, now we're ready to be a hero. Oh, come on, Jacob. Was that really necessary? Yeah, showboater.
Shot!
Again, because I always feel... So this is one of the things that I think I react rather poorly to in games when they have a sort of linear path, but every once in a while you have these offshoots. Because a lot of these games tend to have these moments where... I guess I'm not allowed to do that. Maybe I just shot Archangel. Vital signs didn't go down though. But yeah, anyway, so because I think a lot of these games, like once you go behind a certain door, you push the story forward, I tend not to have the sense of urgency that I know a lot of games try to promote in these scenes, just because I know if I don't check the place thoroughly, I'm not going to be able to go back and get this other stuff. Oh, hang on, is it Garrus?
Archangel.
Shepard,
It is.
I thought you were dead.
Garrus, what are you doing here?
Just keeping my skills sharp. A little target practice.
You okay?
Been better, but it sure is good to see a friendly face. Killing mercs is hard work, especially on my own.
What are you doing out here on Omega?
I got fed up with all the bureaucratic crap on the Citadel. Figured I could do more good on my own. At least it's not hard to find criminals here. All I have to do is point my gun and shoot.
How'd you manage to piss off every major merc organization in the Terminus systems?
It wasn't easy. I really had to work at it. I am amazed that they teamed up to fight me. They must really hate me.
Since when did you start calling yourself Archangel?
It's just a name the locals gave me for all my good deeds. I don't mind it, but please, it's just Garrus to you.
You nailed me good a couple times, by the way.
Concussive rounds only, no harm done. Didn't want the mercs getting suspicious.
Uh-huh.
If I wanted to do more than take your shields down, I'd have done it. Besides, you were taking your sweet time. I needed to get you moving.
Well, we got here, but I don't think getting out will be as easy.
No, it won't. That bridge has saved my life, funneling all those witless idiots into scope. But it works both ways. They'll slaughter us if we try to get out that way.
So we just sit here and wait for them to take us out?
It's not all that bad. This place has held them off so far. And with 3 of you, I suggest we hold this location, wait for a crack in their defenses, take our chances. It's not a perfect plan, but it's a plan.
How'd you let yourself get into this position?
My feelings got in the way of my better judgment. It's a long story. I'll make you a deal. You get me out of here alive, and I'll tell you the whole damn thing.
If we fight as a team, we'll hold them off.
You're right. Their numbers won't help them in here anyway. Let's see what they're up to.
We will meet them at the Hot Gates, where their numbers account for nothing.
Looks like they know their infiltration team failed. Take a look. Scouts. Eclipse, I think.
Yeah, I did, John Bean.
More than scouts. One less now, though.
Indeed. We better get ready. I'll stay up here. I can do a lot of damage from this vantage point. You can do what you do best. Just like old times, Shepard. Let's give these bastards everything.
Oh, I was hoping to keep this straight. Oops.
Between the eye.
Heads up. Going snipers.
Oh, well. The M15 Vindicator battle rifle acquired. The following squad members are now able to use this weapon. Zaid. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just gonna get myself some ammo if you don't mind. Man, they are really stingy with the ammo.
Eclipse mercs have made it into the base. Rear.
I love it.
Eclipse!
How did that not? There we go. Stop that. Oh, damn it.
One left.
You want something done properly. All right, let's see how you handle this, Archangel. Go!
Sending out the heavy nets.
That problem should take care of itself.
I'll just wait for them to take care of that for me.
Have a nice trip.
One less to worry about.
About to get hot.
All right, now I have to deal with these jokers.
Nice trip.
Oof.
I'm on.
Guess we'll put them down.
Damn it. I always feel bad whenever I miss and it's like slow-mo.
Scoped and dropped.
Looks like that's all of them. Come find me before they regroup.
Not till I get some ammo. So I do like the way that that's organized. I mean, I'm definitely feeling the limitations of the ammo for the sniper rifle, but one of the things I like about that encounter is the way. So assuming that I know, assuming that you like sitting and sniping, the fact that you have such little ammo means that at some point you're either going to have to leave and reload. Or you're going to need to switch to another weapon. And in either one of those cases, it's very likely that people are going to go inside the base, which, I don't know, it just adds a little bit of variety to the encounter, which I like quite a bit.
You're kicking ass, Shepard. They barely touched me. And we got Jareth in the process. I've been hunting that little bastard for months.
Why were you after him?
He's been shipping tainted Ezo all over Citadel space. Half the goods I seized back at CSEC came from his team here on Omega. I took out a big shipment a while back and killed his top lieutenant in the process. Not surprised he decided to work with the other mercs after that.
We've still got blood packing blue suns left. Think we can make a break for it?
Maybe. Let's see what they're up to. They've reinforced the other side, heavily, but they're not coming over the bridge yet. What are they waiting for?
What the hell was that?
Damn it. They breached the lower level. Well, they had to use their brains eventually. You'd better get down there, Shepard. I'll keep the bridge clear.
Let's split up 2 and 2. Keep one of my team here.
You sure? Who knows what you'll find down there?
Jacob, stay with Garrus. Keep him alive.
If you say so. I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Thanks, Shepard. You better get going.
How do I get to the basement?
Go down a level. The basement door's on the west side of the main room behind the stairs. I'll radio directions if you need help, but you've got to get down there quick. Good luck.
Oh, I'm not getting down there quick. So, I know in the end of the game people can die, but I'm slightly curious, and this is not an invitation to tell me, but I am slightly curious if it's possible to lose team members, oh yeah, screw that, in these sequences, so if it's possible that you lose, possible to, let's say, lose Garrus if you make a bad decision here.
There's 2 more shutters. Get them closed fast.
Ooh. I like that touch about covered, but Jesus Christ. Alright, you know what? Yeah, something. Get behind cover! Ooh. If Johnny's watching, I am so sorry about the doges. They were evil doges and I had to put them down. Oof.
There's a console near the shutters. Here they come. There's not too many yet.
Oh, god damn it. That's a great way to get me out of cover. Okay. Let's just do a Hail Mary. God damn it.
Obstruction detected.
Get that shutter closed. We can't fight them on two fronts.
Commencing shutdown. Obstruction detected.
God damn it!
Commencing shutdown. Obstruction
Hostiles on the bridge, but we're holding.
Shutter secured.
Thank God. Okay. I should probably be giving more orders to Miranda, but
Shields have failed.
Here we go.
whoa! That is a really nice trap.
I'm going to need some help soon. They're getting more aggressive.
I am screwed. Where is Miranda? Let me get over! Okay, Miranda, this is the last place I need you. I know you're genetically engineered to be perfect, but... Yep!
Commencing shutdown. Shutter secured.
Get back here, Shepard. They're coming in through the door.
Thank you so much.
Rip them to shreds! Watch my back. I'll deal with Archangel.
This is a really nice way to end out the month. Thank you for that.
Enemies in front.
Yep, by the way, is going to be featured in something I'm planning for a future stream.
Enemy charging.
But I need to keep that under my hat for now. And you know what kind of hat it is. It's a fedora.
Coming our way.
Not quite what I wanted to do, but okay.
There we go.
Just enough time to reload. Glorious.
They've stopped. Come find me.
I'm right here.
Thanks, Shepard. They hardly got through to me. And we took out Garm and his blood pack. This day just gets better and better. He was one tough son of a bitch.
You fought with him before?
Yeah, we tangled once. Caught him alone, none of his gang to help him. Still couldn't take him out. I've never seen a Krogan regen that fast. He's a freak of nature. He just kept at it until his Vorcha showed up. It was close, but I had to let him go. Not this time.
Only the Blue Suns are left. I say we take our chances and fight our way out.
I think you're right. Tarek's got the toughest group, but nothing we haven't faced before. Besides, he won't be expecting us to meet him head-on.
Heads up!
Damn!
I guess I better get out of the...
Loading troops. Watch your back, Shepard.
Taking cover!
God damn it! I really wish they wouldn't slow it down. I feel like I've never hit a single one of those. Oh, are you talking about Garrus's? You want to look at that, Sin? Who else are we talking about? Oh, Jacob, right?
There we go!
God damn it, stop! Oop. I just want the ammo. I don't think it said anything about where the weak spot is, so.
Here we go.
It does nothing! He is alive!
We're getting you out of here, Garrus. Just hold on. Radio Joker, make sure they're ready for us.
We better hurry. He looks bad.
That's not a nice thing to say to a Turian. At least wait till he's out of the room. Alright. Extracted Archangel from Mercenary Siege and recruited him for the team. Unclear whether injury to Archangel will impair his ability to assist in the mission. Regardless, revelation of identity as Garrus Vicarian is useful in keeping Shepard comfortable. Vindicator Battle Rifle. Battle rifle favored by assassins and elite mercenaries that fires in highly accurate 5-round bursts and can be pulsed for rapid fire. deadly at range and effective against armor, shields, and biotic barriers. Upgrades the Avenger assault rifle. Manufactured by Elanus Risk Control Services for the Blue Suns mercenary group, the Vindicator is quickly gaining popularity in the Terminus systems. Submachine gun damage. Use the research computer in the Normandy's lab to build this upgrade. Squad bonus 10% submachine gun damage. Upgrades your submachine guns for your entire squad. This is really big, by the way. This is one of the things that keeps me from doing those infuriating inventory management sessions that we did in Mass Effect 1. I think this is a much better way of handling that. Garrus's? That's cool. I like the character Garrus. I think when I played this game the first time, my main squad was, I think, Soldier Shepherd, Garrus, and Tali. I really like Tali. Tech damage. Use the research computer in the Normandy's lab to build this upgrade. Omni-tool upgrade, 10% tech power damage. Standard Omni-tools are calibrated with a wide neural input tolerance range so that they can be used effectively by any race. By tuning the inputs of the Omni-tool to match the specific neural patterns of the user, responsiveness and power can be greatly increased. Once tuned in this manner, the Omni-tool is almost unusable by anyone but the wearer, and it must be constantly recalibrated to subtle neural shifts. We got 20k, both from Cerberus and the just our looting, element 0500, and we will close the report.
Commander, we've done what we could for Garrus, but he took a bad hit. The doc's corrected with surgical procedures and some cybernetics. Best we can tell, he'll have full functionality, but...
Shepard?
Tough son of a bitch. Didn't think he'd be up yet.
Nobody would give me a mirror. How bad is it?
Hell, Garrus, you were always ugly. Slap some face paint on there and no one will even notice.
Oh, don't make me laugh. Damn it, my face is barely holding together as it is. Some women find facial scars attractive. Mind you, most of those women are Krogan.
I really like the writing in this.
Frankly, I'm more worried about you. I've heard bad things about Cerberus these past few years.
That's why I'm glad you're here, Garrus. If I'm walking into hell, I want someone I trust at my side.
You realize this plan has me walking into hell, too. Just like old times. I'm fit for duty whenever you need me, Shepard. I'll settle in and see what I can do with the forward batteries.
Oh, interesting. I thought that might be a debrief with the elusive man, but...
What's this area of the ship?
This is the FTL communications room. In addition to interfacing with the FTL comm network, Normandy is fitted with a quantum entanglement communicator linked to the elusive man's office. This allows lag-free communication even when you operate off the comm grid.
Thanks, nerd.
That's all for now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
Alright, guys. I would love very much to keep streaming this game, but I'm about 30 minutes over. And I realized that an hour of the cast was taken up with Nighthawks, but it's a game that I feel very strongly about. If you guys have not checked it out, please do follow this link. If you want to see the game being played, you can do that at the you can see it probably in the first 30 minutes. You'll be able to see it. We had the developer of the game stop by, which was really nice. He was very he interacted with the chat. The game is about 50,000 away from being funded, and it's got a week to go, so it's well within its range. It's already raised about 79,000, I think. But again, it's not going to happen if it doesn't find its audience. And so, whether or not you guys are contributing yourselves, obviously I can't spend your money for you, but I do hope that you spread the word. Again, even if you think you have a small online presence, or if you have basically if you think that sort of your little drop in the bucket doesn't matter, believe me, it does. I can tell you from doing an Extra Life stream, the thing that makes people take action is repeated viewing of the message. So the fact of the matter is that if you tweet out that game and somebody that person is following tweets out the game, the fact that there's multiple people talking about this thing is very likely going to be what causes the person to follow through. So even if you don't kickstart it yourself, I definitely recommend that you get the word out, because again, the world is better when we have more games, when we have more variety. And of course, you might have a vested interest in seeing me play that game, which means that if you can bring in some people who will enjoy it themselves and want to help make it a reality, it's something where we all win. So, and of course, if not, that's no big deal. But I do want to be clear. There's many ways that you can support a Kickstarter like that. You don't need to do the buy the game tier. You can even do just $1. Every bit helps. But it really is a matter of letting people know about it, especially too, because maybe they don't back it now, but they see something online between now and when the game gets released that tells them, hey, you know what, I actually do want to try this thing. Obviously, that's helping build the word so that the game is successful on its release. The Kickstarter is just the first step on a very interesting journey. So I do thank you guys for dealing with me. I did play the demo twice, and I know not everybody necessarily wanted to sit through what is essentially the same experience twice, but I appreciate you hanging out during that. And I really hope that I have that. I really hope that I have that game to play for you in a year's time. So sounds good one for. And yeah, guys, I'm always happy to stream. I'm sorry I can't stream longer, but as always, I'll do my best on the days that I say I'll be there, unless something from the outside world keeps me from doing so. I'm going to take a minute and find someone to host. But in the meantime, I did also want to take a minute and thank, obviously we had some subs. We got 1-4 and Yip. So thank you very much for that, guys. And I will also take a minute to talk about the people who are hosting and auto-hosting. We've got Ulster Fighter, the Vanguard Master, Malicide, Nubasaur42, Ottawa Streamers, Mr. Franz, Starbright Knight, Chaotic Tabris, Yorkshire Bastard, The Sleepbringer, Rambler146, Mingo Duck, Inferno Fowler, Maka Angzier, Kaylee Cakes, Flofi, Unknown Brigade, and Johnny Big Time, just in time for the thing to reset. So thank you, everybody. The auto hosts and that really do help, because as with everything, people... I just want to see if this guy's actually live. Oop. Ba-ba-ba-ba. I feel bad. Okay, guys, I'm going to say one of two things. Please use the send, check your whispers in a second. So I'll tell you guys while I'm working this out, there's a guy who I know from Twitch. And okay, cool. I don't know if he's live or not. Normally when his stream title changes, that means that he's live, but right now he's in his standby pattern. So take a look at Major Trendy. He's a really good guy. Some of you might know who this guy is. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's a former partnered. Well, I think he's still technically partnered, but he's somebody who I got to see go from a brand new streamer to a partner. He's someone who I like quite a bit. But I don't think he's actually live right now. His stream is up, but I don't think he's doing anything. So major trendy. But the person who we are, actually, I'll give him a quick shout out. But the person we'll be raiding tonight is Elegy, which I believe I have never, hosted him. The Eyes of Sin is a streamer, or sorry, is a moderator for him, and he's currently playing Fallout 4. One of the reasons I kind of want to host him tonight is when he's doing Fallout 4, he's doing this series called You Don't Know Jacques. And this is basically his sort of, not exactly in character playthrough, but sort of his themed playthrough of playing a well-dressed cannibal. Now, I've never played Fallout 4, but I figure if you guys like my Elder Scrolls playthroughs, you might like this sort of thing from Elegy. It's also worth mentioning that he is somebody who does the demos of the games that are in Twitch Prime. So he's somebody he's definitely a bigger streamer than me. He's partnered. He's one of these people who does it for a living. And especially because the Eyes of Sin has been very generous in terms of shouting me out here, I figured I should probably throw a little bit of that love back and let you guys see somebody new. So we'll be over at Elegy's stream. I hope you guys enjoy it. I may not be around for very long because I have work in the morning. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm definitely happy to host him more if you guys enjoy it. So anyways, have a good night. I will see you on Elegy stream.